is your
Right,
location.
guys.
Yep.
Guys, I
What's up,
want you
David?
each to give me what you like most about 86 and what you don't like so much about 86, if that exists.
Alright.
Yeah, you guys go first. You guys have critical opinions.
Oh, okay. I can start. I guess the stuff that I like about 86 is it's the I guess the story, right? Like it's something that is something we don't usually see in anime, where two sides of a battlefield and like one side is sort of like, sort of dehumanized, and we're seeing like the perspective from two different, I guess, groups of people. But that's about it. It's just like an interesting premise, I guess, that I haven't seen before. Um, Everything else is just mediocre. It's not like I don't know. It just doesn't feel like an exceptional anime. It just feels like a pretty good anime,
Okay,
and
all
that's
right.
like this.
And David?
Yeah, I've only watched the first episode, so I can't give as much information. But from the first episode, the storyline makes sense. The characters, you get an understanding of each character's emotions, each character's perspectives, very quickly. And the thing that I feel like it's very very typical of anime in particular as a media is that everyone's character is very eccentric. There's not like there's no subtlety. There is subtlety, but it's like if you're a nice character, you're gonna be a really nice character. If you're a bad character, you're gonna be a really bad character, right? And
Are
the
you saying
thing
there's
that
no like duality in anyone?
there,
There's no like in
it's
between.
yeah,
They're
Right.
not
there's no
human. They don't
like
feel human.
yeah, they don't feel human. They're either like perfect and then always do good, or they always do bad. Like the one thing that the one thing that turned me like turned me down for the first episode was the scene where the major walked into the reception, and all the guys were not taking anything seriously. Now, firstly, that's not realistic, which is fine, but it gives the sense that okay, you're not a serious show. You're a show which is taking everything lighthearted. Because logically, if you're fighting a war, if you walk into a foyer of any military base, it's not going to be people drinking and having fun. Like no matter how like how laxical everyone is, that there won't be like that, even at the worst. So that's what I disliked about the show, but that's very normal for most anime. Um, what I like is
Hello.
hello,
Oh,
just talking about what I like and dislike about 86. What I liked about 86 was the storytelling. It is a pretty good anime for storytelling. You do ask a lot of questions, so I do want to watch more when I'm watching the show, because you do have a lot of questions that are unanswered that you
Okay.
do want to figure out, and that's what makes the show more interesting.
Yeah, okay. That paints a pretty good picture. Would you guys rather watch this or To Your Eternity?
this as an 86.
86.
86 To Your Eternity.
After the second episode of To Your Eternity, I would rather watch 86.
Yeah, the
Because the
first
second episode doesn't want me to watch the third
To
episode.
your identity.
The first, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, to Eternity, episode 2 and 3 were just like,
Bro, they fell off
they're just like so
before
average.
yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
depressing. I really wanted to be like exceptional, but it's just
The manga falls off even more, I think, eventually down the track. I ended up I stopped reading it at some point, I think.
Episode 1 set the bar way too high.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
like
actually
that.
true.
Like,
I think if you average the first 3
Yeah,
episodes,
yeah,
like
yeah.
86 is way better than To Your Eternity. Like 3 episodes. Average.
Mm.
yeah, like I'm gonna say something controversial right here. I'm actually more hyped about the next episode of Phoebe, like episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested to see like what's going on there.
But yeah,
Like-
I feel like movie.
Like,
I I am more worried about what's gonna happen in episode 5 than excited.
Yeah.
One arc is
Well,
finished.
yeah, but you're still anticipating it, right?
I am
Like, I wanna see
scared
the
how
document
much
shit.
bullshit is gonna occur in
Bro, how are
episode
they
5.
coming up with this shit?
Yeah, but like the thing is, like honestly, like with 86, I don't know. I don't feel compelled to like know more about what's gonna happen. And same with like for To Your Eternity, uh, like To Your Eternity, it's sort of just like, oh yeah, they're gonna like go somewhere next episode. Like I know, like it
has
feels like they're
ability.
intentionally trying to make cliffhangers where
Yeah.
you can just like don't need to like. They're making it really dramatic when it's not that dramatic or something. It just doesn't feel natural. I don't know.
It's like when you're teaching someone to write an essay and you're like, in an essay you need a conclusion. So then they write in conclusion and then they exactly
Yeah,
sum up the
it's like
point.
right to right.
And you're like, huh, okay. Yeah, maybe not so forced.
Yeah.
Wait, are you serious about 86, man? 86, I think it's so fucking like. Dude, I really want to watch the next episode.
Same.
That's fair enough. It's definitely not bad. It's definitely like pretty fucking good.
Well, I wasn't here for a bit, Fibs. How many episodes of 86 do you watch?
None.
0.
I think the
Zero.
answer was 0.
0. Okay.
Yeah,
That's why you
just
wanted our
gauging
opinions on it.
Yeah. I think it's really good.
86 is a deep anime, but it
Mm.
also holds some of the anime tropes of like the characters being
Yeah.
who they are.
Actually, just to touch on what you
Honestly-
said earlier with the guys laughing,
Yeah.
it's like a pretty important plot point. But essentially, they're laughing because they don't treat their soldiers as humans.
Yeah, but you're in a military environment. You're in a war.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be drinking.
No, as in
firstly.
they never have any casualties, so like their behavior literally doesn't matter. Like,
But do they not want to win the war?
Like,
no, as
to
in
the
they win the
soldiers,
war regardless of like what they do.
Like,
Essentially,
soldiers in that environment, it doesn't feel like a war, right? It feels more like you're doing like greyhound racing or like dog fighting or something like that, right? You're pretty much watching like you're watching a TV show on the screen basically.
Mhm.
It's no danger to you, and it's of no particular consequence whether you win or lose. to
But
those
it is, right? Particular consequence whether you win or lose.
Well, like-
Because strategically, you want to win. Otherwise, you lose the war, which is terrible.
they're not
their
losing the
expectation
war.
is that you win anyway.
Why are they not losing the war? Like, isn't obviously it will be discussed further on, but like,
I
if you're fighting a war that's lasting more than 1 year, obviously there is some back and forth. It can't be like you're just crushing them.
It's more like
Mercilessly.
tower defense essentially, because like they keep getting zerged by these fucking like space soldier things, and they're
Yeah.
just like
You're getting zerged.
no, actually though, it's like
So
it's
the
like it's
Protoss
literally
invading the
StarCraft.
fucking humans.
These guys just like minding their own
Fucking
business, and the fucking Protoss are running in.
Those two zoom to understand zerged. Can you explain the term zerged?
Oh shit, our viewers are too
That's
young.
People are too
that's
young for this.
I don't play
that's a
StarCraft,
very
but
StarCraft.
there's like a Protoss race, right? And you just get like 1 billion units and run them down to the enemy, and then if you swarm them fast enough, you win. And if they react in time, you lose, and you
Yeah.
instant FF.
This
I
is
mean-
true.
Like, I personally think like that scene where like they're sort of very lax in their behavior as soldiers, it doesn't really reflect the theme set with the first scene. Like, do you guys remember the first scene? It was like really intense, like war, right? Like, I get that it's meant to be sort of like a comparison, right? Where like, you know, the people not on the front lines, they're like whatever the fuck, right? And the people on the front lines are really intense. But it still feels like if during like your voice comms with your soldiers, they're like talking like that to you, surely you're not just like drinking afterwards. It seems like a little bit inconsistent.
As in,
Right?
even in the first scene, they were like laughing at the soldiers, right?
Yeah.
They were like fine.
No,
till you
wasn't it
break-
soldiers talking back to the people?
No, it was the commander like yelling at
Like,
the
mocking
at the
And then
soldiers.
he got killed,
Yeah.
right?
Gigs or something.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
just-
so like even then, like it still doesn't. It's still not consistent, right? Like,
I think it's really consistent in that they completely look down on these guys as like subhuman.
yeah, but there's not that intensity there anymore. you know?
How are they winning a war if there's no fucking intensity?
As in the commander is intense. He's just intensely like belittling them.
Yeah.
He's like, I bet you're all gonna die. You guys are pigs.
The only people like communicating with these soldiers are the handlers,
Mhm.
isn't it?
No, I think the
Yeah.
guy
Yeah,
in
but then what does everyone else do in the
Oh.
cause?
the
That's what they're
nothing.
doing, right? They're not doing anything. It's a symptom of like an inflated military, which hires people who don't do anything or only do paperwork. That's criticism of modern militaries as well.
Possible.
So the soldiers are just like waking up late, they're drinking, they're not like really doing anything because like there is no need for those soldiers in the first place.
Right. They're just taking
In
government
wartime.
stimulus checks.
In wartime, having a surplus of military.
No, because these
That's
people are
not-
not fighting. They're not allowed to fight.
Yeah, but in wartime, having a surplus of military is not reasonable. Like in any situation.
Yeah, I think I agree with David on the point where like some animes just don't feel good because they just lack some really really tiny like things that make it like very difficult to believe. You know, like it's like I don't know, like it doesn't have to be like a realistic anime, right? Even in like fantasies anime, I think I said this
Yeah.
like in some of our first podcasts is that it needs to stay consistent with like the scene it sets for itself. And like, although like, of course, on paper you can argue that the actions that they're taking seem very legit, but I just feel like it doesn't seem right. You know, like there's something like that doesn't feel human about the humans in the show.
I think you're looking at this too much from like what you're used to in Australian culture, where like everything, like in Australia, everything is reasonably good, right? Every person is reasonable. Like even
Yeah, but
from
you're
an
yeah,
American
I get it.
perspective, or
It's
like
Like what I'm assuming this country is like a totalitarian or like militaristic. Like
it's
like
Germany
it's
or
like a
France, World War One, right?
yeah, exactly. But like it's having all of this propaganda, right? But within the propaganda there should be like people who's actually thinking and doing work, right? And that usually is the military because that they need to win that war, otherwise they're fucked, right? If your military yourself isn't giving a shit or like is drinking during like after fighting, you like you can talk shit to you can be racist as fuck to like everyone, right? But you still need to do your job. You can't do your job when you're drinking afterwards.
The point is like they basically have no job to do, right? And they're not fucked if they lose the war from these people's perspectives. Because
Why are they
like,
not
the
fucked
war's
if they lose
happening
the
at
war?
like District 86 or whatever, right? There's a shit ton of districts there, and then they're living in District 1, right? So to like the immediate person, like they even said, okay, you haven't watched later.
No, I
episodes,
haven't watched
they,
it.
They
No.
they mentioned that these people just don't really like see the war as realistic because they don't have a realistic chance of dying, nor does anyone they know die. Right? Their perspective is just that there's no casualties whatsoever. There's no mortalities.
How long has this war gone on for?
Since the enlistment of the 86, I
And therefore,
And
5
how
plus
long
years.
ago? 5+ years?
9 years, I think, and they say that the war would necessarily end in 2 years for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Which is
because
like-
the enemy swarm runs out of power in like 2 years. Or
Yeah.
In
something.
2 years.
in 2 years. But was something like they run out of power in 2 years, or like
Yeah.
they run out of powers.
Because they've like defeated the enemy army, but the mobs are still there, so they just have to like wait them out.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so for risk, for this District 1 people, right, they have no realistic chance of like even losing. So to them, it's basically like if you were playing a game, right? Okay, let's say we were playing ARAM, for example. Play ARAM game, and we try to end the game, for example. We try to win the game, but like maybe at the Nexus, right? We like don't quite end, like try to kill a few more or something, right? Like, do you feel like it's your life on the line, like whether you end the game or not, for example? Because I think to
No.
these District 1 people, like it's almost feels like that. Like these fights seem inconsequential to them.
Right.
Right.
Like,
It
they
is an
really
interesting
seem to be
premise. Like
inconsequential,
it's
almost like
yeah,
a game.
it's not really something that will ever happen in real life. So sort of like
World War One
Yeah,
Germany.
The fighting is so far away, and to them, it's not the humans that are fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not people who are fighting.
Like okay, so like I can give you an analogy to real life. America fighting in Afghanistan, right?
Sure.
To the public, it's like, oh, we're sending people into another country, right? It has nothing to do with me, right?
Mhm.
Like, and then the drone, and then like people controlling the drones They're like, oh, I'm just sitting in America while I'm bombing all of these people, right?
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Like, you still like, do you drink still? Do you like joke around?
Yes, in the military, that's what they do, right? Like if you look at like reports of the Vietnam War or something, that or like if you watch the war movies, like the more realistic war movies, the soldiers are literally just playing around, or like, and making fun of the enemy and making fun of, like in the Vietnam War at least, making fun of their Vietnamese allies, right? And like that's like the major criticism of the Vietnam War, and like one of the reasons for the American withdrawal of the Vietnam War, as the public realizes all of this. And besides, in these kind of wars, right? The people, like there's people that you know are fighting, even like members of the public, right? Maybe your husband's friends, like like teacher or something, his son was like fighting in the Vietnam War. There's people you know, right? There's people you know who are fighting. There's people you know who can be dying or suffering the consequences of the war, and you see the allies and the enemy as humans as well. Whereas in this
Mm.
case, the people who are fighting are not seen as humans, right? They're just not seen
And
as
that's one
humans.
thing I also don't understand. Why are they not seen as humans?
Because they're slaves, essentially.
I mean, they're like different race. Right?
They're not Aryan.
Yeah.
That's actually this is like
They don't have white hair and white eyes. Pretty much.
Whoa.
That's
Guys.
literally
Wow.
it.
Jeez.
That's literally what the
Actually-
anime is about.
it's hair color, eye color. But it's actually just Germany.
Mhm.
Well, this is Germany, but like the
They're not
flag
Aryan.
representation feels a bit like France, but either
that's
Germany
true.
or France.
Sure. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you don't look
France-
like
France-
us, you're not one of us, essentially.
Powerhouses.
I mean, similarly to like when America had slavery, right?
Yeah, it's like black skin equals.
You get controlled by the white guy,
not the
and then
same.
you like do their work for them.
Actually, like reading about people's descriptions of like the military, like in Afghanistan or like the Vietnam War, where one side just feels like they're superior and they're also not like really fighting for their lives either.
Mm.
You do hear descriptions of soldiers just like literally fucking around, like a lot of the soldiers, and then there's other people who like take issues with that, right?
Yeah.
For example, someone who's like serious about the fighting, who just wants to like either win the war or like be dedicated to their duties.
It
Like,
also
they're not
de-
happy about that kind of
Yeah,
attitude.
but it also depends on who their commander is. It's a lot of depending on leadership.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, but if the whole like foyer of soldiers is like laxical, that means there is no leadership,
Yeah,
right? So in that situation, you would say that no one is trying hard.
yeah.
Like no one in the corps is trying hard, because if there was anyone who was trying hard at the top, then the people at the bottom wouldn't be like, or would be less obvious.
I mean, the people at the top literally don't care, right? Because like, the daily occurrence is like they get some like people who they don't consider people to like go fight their war, and then whatever happens, they're safe in their home. Like even if they lose one battle, like they just come back tomorrow. Like it literally doesn't matter, right? And then their goal in the war is just to wait out the time. So like they're just waiting until the war is over, and there's nothing they can do to accelerate that.
Use the
And-
case study of the Vietnam War, right? There's, like actually just look at the Vietnam War.
Yeah, but in all of those wars, like in Germany occupied Poland, they couldn't enlist soldiers from that country.
Yeah,
But how the fuck are they enlisting soldiers from 86?
I think it's implied that there's a large
slaves,
supply of
right?
86. I mean, if you think
Yeah,
about like
but,
the average
like-
country, right? Like how many people are like one type of person, and then like everyone else like a different race. There's a lot of people of different races, right?
Yeah, but
You just like
I
lock
yeah.
them out and then make them fight your war.
yeah. If you consider like ways of controlling people, for example, like use some sort of divide and conquer strategy, right? You use some incentives for these people to fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does
Yeah.
reveal some of that
Yeah.
in the later episodes, and
Uh,
also like they're also fighting for their survival, right? They have to fight at that point, like they act as a buffer, and they have to fight or they die, because these other
Yeah.
like robot things are invading.
Yeah, and that's why the 86, I think, they act very human because they are fighting to survive. And like,
Yeah.
there's not that much joking around, and like they are serious when it comes down to like the actual battles. Whereas the commanders, like I agree with your point, they're very, very drunk and don't seem to care about the war. But like I think that's
Like a daisical.
like a daisical, sure. I think that's justifiable from like their societal like understanding because like they know they're gonna win the war. They have no personal risk to themselves, so they just like treat their job as a joke.
Mm.
I mean,
Like eventually, like if you go up the chain, someone has to care.
That's Lena.
Yeah,
Like logistically, like logistically, someone
yeah,
has to.
It's like Lena
like
and
doesn't
Lena's
Lena
dad,
talk
right?
with, doesn't Lena talk with like her,
The uncle.
like like
There
her
are some other
leader?
people in the
Yeah,
military.
yeah,
as
the
well.
uncle.
Yeah, and they were pretty serious. They were just like,
Mm.
they were just like, they definitely weren't like drinking or anything. They were just like, you know, are you sure you want to take this squadron because this squadron is like,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
like causing people to
Yeah.
like suicide or something, right? And then she was like, yeah. Like, I mean, those like there's higher people.
But I mean,
People higher up,
the
they're definitely.
uncle who is presumably like the leader of the army, he doesn't treat the 86 as humans either.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So he would be
doesn't.
of
Like,
the
no one
same
does.
like attitude.
But
towards
logistically, he should care about the war.
Mhm. He cares about the war, obviously. He's
Yeah.
like still hiring people and like making people do
Yeah.
shit. But like in
Yeah.
terms of like overall attitude towards the war, I have no doubt that he also thinks they just win always.
Yeah, I think like if you think about it in like when in Germany with like Nazi and like Jewish, like I mean I would say that a lot of the people who were fighting, like a part of the military in Germany, like they wouldn't see Jewish people as the same people, like
Mm.
at the same standing at all.
Definitely.
Yeah, like
Can't,
no matter
right?
what
Otherwise,
rank
you wouldn't
are.
like you would feel too much compassion to be like rounding up these people and like killing them or
Mhm.
whatever.
Oh yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's the same. It's the same ideology, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, like my theory about why, you know, the sort of like people who are in charge of the Undertaker unit goes, like they like either retire or they suicide is because the Undertaker unit, they're very human, right? Like they make the handlers realize that these people aren't just like not like they're just like things that fight for them, right? They make the handlers realize that they're actual people. Yeah, I think that's like, but I mean, like personally, I'm like I really need like strong characters to like push me through a show, right? And I think one of another criticism that I have for 86 is that there's so many characters, especially in the 86 unit, that you don't actually get time to know them very well. I mean, I'm not sure you can argue it and say that, all right, like that's the point, right? Because you don't even get to know them very well and they die and it's like whatever, right? But like the only scene I remember where you got to know them a bit more was a bath scene. It was it was literally like dudes peeping on girls,
It's
like
the fan
taking a
service
bath.
scene.
Yeah, like I just feel like that's like a bit. I mean, it's A1 Studio, right? Like I feel like that's what they do, but it just didn't feel right.
Mm.
You know, like I feel like there should be many other ways to like get to know the characters better than like it just feels cheap, you know, like and you
There
don't
were
really
many
get to
other
know the
ways,
characters that way.
Like the nightly communication scenes where like the expressions or the looks they gave each other, like as you know there were many other scenes with them as well, but like the communication scenes with Lena, where like the squad 86 silently communicated with each other, I feel like does convey a lot of the emotion as well between them.
Like personally, watching the scenes where they're like talking with the handler, like Lena, like it's an A1 thing, right? Where, like all the characters literally look the same and they don't have much expression. I'm gonna be honest, right? Like there's not much expression on their faces, the way they're drawn, and they all look pretty similar. The only difference is that they have like different hair colors, and some wear glasses, and some are girls and some are boys. Like I'll be honest, right? You line them all up and you wouldn't know which one is the protagonist, like the Undertaker protagonist, right? Like.
Nah, it's pretty obvious that he's the protagonist, right?
As in, like, if you never seen the show before, right, and you like have all the members of 86 line up, you wouldn't know which one's meant to be like the big man, you know?
But I mean,
Is it-
none of them
can you
are the
name
big
them
man,
all
right?
at this point after episode 4? Can you name them all?
No.
Probably.
I know.
Shin.
Shin,
Shin's the main
Kurena,
guy. Ocarina.
Anju, the white-haired one,
Oh,
Daya,
Anju cute.
Kyo,
Stride's
yeah.
good.
Haruto.
She's like blue
Yeah.
hair. It's like a light blue. It's weird. Because like if she was light hair, she wouldn't be out there, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think
Unless
these
I
are
make a
like,
mistake.
and of course Kaya, the one who like
Kai's.
died.
Oh, spoilers.
Like, I think these are like they're pretty memorable, aren't they? They're
think
pretty
so.
memorable.
Maybe it's just me then. like,
I like their characters.
like,
I
it
think-
takes a while for me to like remember
yeah,
characters.
it's like learning a classroom of people.
I'm
Yeah.
not one to remember characters normally, but like I think this one is quite memorable.
Fair.
Especially since like their names was pretty much just the focus of that episode.
Yeah, that's true. This episode was all about the names. Although they gave you like 1 second on each name. That was pretty tough.
Yeah, the guys literally just said all the names, man.
In the title of the episode, like your real name or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what would have been cool is like the focus around names, right? And then they actually like give some backstory or like some funny stories between like the relationship between the characters, you know? Like, oh, this character and this character, they used to always fight over like whether like you should cook eggs sunny side up or like both sides. And you know, this one and this one always fight about like how to eat waffles. Do you want to like put chocolate sauce or honey? You know? And, like I think that would have added a little bit more. The dude was just like, all right, this guy's this guy's this guy's this guy's this, right? You got it? All right, cool. Oh, but I didn't get your name. My name is this. Oh my goodness.
No, but like that also has an implication. Right? His name is Shin, which is the first part of Shinigami. But that's like a Japanese.
No, as in
name.
like there's nothing personal about their names.
No, but I think the whole purpose of that last scene was to set up the fact that she knew.
Oh no, I'm
It's
not.
all-
I'm not
yeah,
saying
yeah.
anything about the last one. But I'm just saying like
Sure.
everyone else. Like it doesn't feel like
But as
there
in
was anything to the names that they got.
Their names are not where the development is, right? Like that scene is just to help us identify who they are, and like by extension help Lena identify who they are. I think a lot of the way you learn their characters is like what Serena's saying, is through their dialogue. Because one thing in that scene, which I thought was really subtle, was the fact that in the conversation early in the episode, the Andrew chick was like to Theo, she said something along the lines of, I'm glad you have someone precious to you that you can always keep, right?
Yeah.
Now, I thought that was really interesting because that implies that Theo probably was in love with the chick who died.
Yeah.
And then that's also explains why he was so angry the day before. And then that kind of like links all
Yeah.
the character dynamics together, right? So
But that's like for
just-
two of the characters.
sure. And then like I'm sure we'll see more of that. As in like that. I like the way they did that. I think it explores.
Oh yeah, I think that was good.
Theo's character, because like at the end of last episode, you're like, why is this guy so mad, right? Like, why is he
Yeah.
in particular so mad? And
Yeah.
then I think this sort of explains it, which is nice.
I think it was good.
Actually, I thought that was referring to the Fox Commander. Actually, like the comment about like someone that you treasure or something. Like was like I see your point. Like it could very well have been like the one who died, but like I
It was,
thought
it was the Fox Commander and like his
relating.
like not handler, like his commander, I think before.
Mhm.
The
Something.
Fox Commander was the commander who fought alongside them. So I thought Theo was like partially angry because like there was someone who fought alongside them, but like Lena is not like that person, while trying to be like as sympathetic as everyone else.
Right. But then would they have that dialogue like right after? Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because like the way Andrew said it kind of implied that it was like a recent thing, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm enjoying 86. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 because the main character is hot, so
I will definitely
to each their own.
have a look and let you guys know of my opinion
Yep.
next time we chat.
Yep.
Double Ahoge as well. Single Ahoge not enough.
That's what I'm
Double
saying.
Ahoge.
Also, she's only 16 apparently.
It's only 16?
Wonka.
Dude, you can be a major at 16. You
Yeah,
cannot
because she's
be
the
a major
youngest
at
major.
I'm
in
pretty sure
history.
you have to be 18 to join the military.
Yeah, this is anime.
Like,
I guess
there's,
so.
I don't think there's been like an 18-year-old major, has there been? At least
The fucking
in the
way,
Australian
dude.
army.
Nope.
Major's pretty fucking high, right?
Yep. Major is up there. So the youngest major, let's have a look. 1952, so this guy would have been very old. Like 40-ish, 30-ish.
I think like a 40-year-old major, I would say that's like pretty young as well.
So promotion to major occurs after 8 to 10 years of service.
Dude, that just proves how lackadaisical the military is.
No,
Fucking signing a 16-year-old
no,
girl
it's
as major,
nepotism, right? Because like
This
she's
one
she's
is
the
actually
the uncle is the leader of the army, right? So she's just climbing through the ranks.
Corruption.
Actually,
'Cause remember that scene with the lecture, right? With the military police guy,
Yeah.
right? Where Lena was like talking about the true history, and then the military police guy was like,
he
left.
leaves. Yeah,
Right, that's the scene where you just get sent to the gulag, right? If you're fucking.
Yeah, no shot.
Right,
But she did. Dude, she's
But she
just-
didn't, because she's like the daughter of the like former commander or some shit.
Yeah, who
Oh.
cares, man? The former
Connections with
commander's
uncle.
fucking dead, bro. He's not
no,
even in
but then
command anymore.
in the scene after that, right, where she's talking with her friend, the friend was like, "Are you gonna get punished?" And she's like, "No, because like my uncle's looking after me."
Yeah, so my uncle is gonna pull some strings here.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
this is corruption.
That's corruption, bro.
Yeah, but then that also gives her uniquely the position to change things, right? Like without like particular fears of repercussion.
True.
Right, so she is well positioned to change the attitudes within the military.
That's why she spoke out at that lecture, right?
Yeah, and the lecture, the people are listening to her, like
Yeah.
unlike the actual lecture.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's saying some pretty fucking controversial shit.
Yeah, actually, though.
It's not corruption. It's taking care of your family.
Yeah, nepotism.
Yeah, nepotism. Yeah. What's the difference? Dude, one's illegal.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the difference? We don't do corruption.
We don't do corruption.
Alrighty. Well, 86, good show. Definitely watch. Girl is cute.
Yeah.
Bro, I figured out a problem with myself, which is that I'll watch a shit anime. I'll watch an anime even if it's shit, as long as the main character is cute.
Right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
But that's not to say 86 is a shit anime, because it's really good. But nonetheless, the main character is cute.
Dude, what's the term for that?
Hmm?
Tra-
It's not.
Trans.
What's the term? You're asking a very good question.
Causation and causality.
So the main
Oh.
characters are cute, plural, but it's pretty cute, man. Pause.
Shin's pretty cute.
Woo.
Yeah.
Bro, if I was a chick,
Yeah.
Shin's hot, bro.
Oh yeah.
Shin
Fair
is like, oh, I'm flustered.
No, it doesn't.
I'll stop that. No,
That's
as
why,
in,
like,
he
I
makes
could not-
you feel flustered.
I
Anyway,
don't care too much about the character looks.
bro, I will-
Like, I just need the characters to be like recognizable, you know?
yeah, that's the hair color.
Yeah,
Differentiate
but like,
people by hair
if you
color.
think about like Lena, like, right, she's literally in a society where everyone looks the goddamn same.
Yeah, that's why she has a double ahoge.
There's a fundamental problem with hair color being the only distinctive factor, right?
Yep.
You guys know what that problem is?
What?
No, what is that
This is a
problem?
light novel, by the way. I'm
No.
just saying this is a light
No,
novel.
I completely understand, but ideally, right, the
Mhm.
perfect anime can be adapted into a manga, and a manga ain't gonna have everyone with the same hair color. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I bet. But like, even in manga, you can tell people apart, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Because
and
they've
that-
got
that's
distinctive features that go past just their hair color.
I mean, sure.
The hairstyle.
True. I mean,
But even hairstyle is typically like too weak. Like oftentimes you get manga where the hairstyle is just too damn similar. Like just too damn
that's
similar.
true. Actually, when there's like 100 characters, they all look the same.
I think we gotta like examine something like One Piece to like truly understand
That's
good
true.
character design. You know,
This
like
is true.
it's actually insane how many characters One Piece introduces to you, and how many of them you can uniquely identify. Like, which I mean, like all of them. You can literally identify all of them because none of them look the same, and there's like
From what I've seen,
distinct features for each of them.
half of them aren't even humans, so that makes it easier.
I mean, yes,
Oh,
but even the humans, right? Like literally search an image of One Piece characters, and
Yeah,
even the
okay.
humans look so distinct.
Damn, these are
Like,
So
there's no way to like
wacky sense.
confuse. Actually, there
Yeah.
were two characters I sort of like got confused with. Maybe I don't remember.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
sure at some point with that many characters, like you'll
It
always
is,
hit that.
but
one,
it's
but-
still like a pretty good like way to design characters where it's not. You know, it's how to say it? It's really quick to like identify who's doing what. Sort of
Yeah.
thing.
I mean that like I think part of that might just be clothing, right? Just like
Well, not even-
Yes
what kind of
and
stuff they
no.
wear.
But
It's
also
like clothing,
take
hairstyle, body
any
shape.
of the shonen.
Big booba.
Right. Like Bleach as well, distinctive characters. Naruto, distinct characters. Or any successful anime/manga has extremely distinct characters.
Bleach successful. Oh my god, lol.
Even slice of life romance ones where they're all wearing the same school uniform.
Yep.
You know, they might have an accessory that changes them, or
They might
just
have
just the
two
way that they
ahogas.
act as well. Yeah.
I don't see how these characters are like that similar though. Like I think you can just get rid of the hair like completely, and you can just tell from the faces like the characters are different.
Sure.
Like personally, if you get rid of their hair, I'm not gonna be able to tell them apart, bro.
I think there is good
Like,
contrast
there's
between
height
the
differences,
characters.
there's gender differences, there's just facial feature differences. Like if you look at people in general in society, right? Like you
Like,
you
it's not
identify
enough.
the differences by their faces.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier. Actually, I was looking at some Asian people, and I was like, "Holy shit! If I saw this person in public, would I be able to identify them?" And like, honestly, Asian people look super generic, right? But like, you can still tell them apart,
Yes.
like as similar as they are.
Like, but like recognizing like actual human faces
Mhm.
is probably pretty different from recognizing like characters from an anime. Because there's so much more intricacy in like an actual human face than an anime face.
Mm-hmm.
It's the anime eyes are detailed. You can like recognize the shape of the eyes.
Ooh.
Like,
But
the shape of the eyes
typically,
is-
someone who animates and someone who draws tend to draw eyes for each character in a very similar fashion. Because eyes are incredibly hard to draw.
Yeah, eyes are
Yeah.
hard.
anime movies.
Kurena.
But anyway, I haven't even seen it, so can't
Yeah,
judge
you
yet.
should
but
watch it.
soon.
Honestly, it's
Same.
pretty good.
It is. It's made by A1, so all the characters look like A1 characters. You know.
Jordan just hates A1.
I'm just not a fan of A1.
An A1 hater.
Like not like because nothing they've produced like that really gets me going. You know. They get me going another way.
they get mad. Jordan's riled up when he watches this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had fairy tale as well. Holy shit.
It's just not enough time for me to appreciate the characters, you know.
Hmm,
Like there's really not much time you spend with like the characters.
that's fair enough.
Dude, actually though, like if you have time, actually watch the episodes of 86 again. Like I watched episode 3 again, and like there's actually so much detail that you miss, like that you pick up on the second watch.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
One thing I've been noticing just personally is I've been trying to like watch the screen instead of the subs and just like listen along. And it actually makes it super immersive. Chat practice paying off. Let's go.
You know, apologies.
Actually, apologies for it. I don't need to like keep looking up and down because I feel like when you do that, you do miss a lot of detail.
Yeah.
You're staring at like, because like honestly, if you gave me an anime and just gave me like the bottom 1/3 of the screen and I just read the subs the whole time, I could probably follow the story. But it's just like you miss so much. And come use that 20 cents again. Let's go. Anyway,
Of course, like we already talked about this,
Mm-hmm.
but like that detail about the name on the gravestones actually is like
That was
it's so many
interesting.
implications.
Mhm.
Names on the gravestone.
mm-hmm.
I'm wrong, dude. You can actually identify who are the main characters.
Did you have a look?
Yeah,
I'll
look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna chuck it in chat, right? You guys tell me which one of the characters.
Give it to
that-
Fibs.
No, I'm just chucking in like the games chat, right?
Oh, games
Which one of the main characters?
Alright. That's
Let's see.
admin chat. Like,
Including that. Oh, is it looking at Ethan's fucking?
honestly, none of these guys look like main characters.
Dude, it's the guys with colored hair, bro. What did you
Oh,
mean?
was it the color there?
I mean, I guess out of all of them, yeah, that's true. The colored ones,
Like,
those
those
ones
are
we
the ones, you know,
relate
the
to.
yellow hair one, green
Yeah,
hair
yeah,
one,
yeah.
green hair one, red hair one.
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
so
the four.
those five on the left there were our main our named characters,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, those are-
the one on the right sitting on the robot. That's
Like,
part of
I
our
think the
named
characters
Oh,
that
yeah.
we know are like the four in the middle, right, with the colored hair.
Yeah,
and the
and
one
maybe
on
the
the
guy
left.
next to him as well.
And
the
I,
left
there's,
one.
there's
I
got
don't.
Black
I don't
Dog
think I've
and
seen the guy on the
Dyer.
right.
The guy like right of the robot.
Right of
guy
the
right of the
robot?
robot and the guy
Oh.
sitting on top of the robot on the.
Oh yeah, the guy on top of the robot on the right. we've
Isn't
seen.
the guy the right of the robot? Isn't he the guy who got thrown under the bus in that part scene?
Yeah, the one with the crush on Andrew, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy on the top of the thing, the machine, and the guy to the right of him are the two people who like set him
Yeah.
up.
Two fucking the other two
The
perverts.
boys. No, but like, oh yeah, the guy on top and the guy next to the guy at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, those three guys.
Yeah. Who's the
And
guy at the
other
top
ones are,
left? He's
like,
just
unnamed
irrelevant.
characters.
I think it's relevant.
Sure.
Like I don't think half of these guys we've even seen, but we've seen all of the people of 86, have we not?
Maybe they're
No.
dead.
I mean, they're not squad 80. Like this is the Spearhead Squadron, right?
Oh, right. They
So like
hang out?
obviously all the people of 86 district aren't.
Yeah,
like,
no,
all
as in,
these
yeah,
guys,
the
right?
Spearhead Squadron. We've seen all the people there, no?
Yeah, the Spearhead Squadron was have
It's pretty big.
wait, but the Spearhead Squadron may not be limited to just the people in that room, in the one in that like recreation room.
No, I was thinking like the first scene where we saw them in the dining hall, where the
Ah,
black dude was still alive.
Oh yeah.
Ah, right. So this may not be. Maybe the people we see in the recreation room, like playing cards and drawing and stuff, are not the whole Spearhead Squadron.
So is this the Spearhead Squadron? I have no idea.
Maybe they're just different squads.
Maybe
Maybe
we
they're-
just haven't been introduced to all the characters yet.
Yeah. Like, I doubt we're gonna be introduced to half of these characters. Is the thing.
Surely we got introduced to everyone in the Spearhead Squadron already, right? Because that's what Lena was asking.
Yes.
But as in the
So I
names that we heard felt like it felt like we heard far fewer names than the number of names that she wrote down.
Ah, right. She wrote down a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like on her screen, she has like two like full-sized like I don't know screens with like a shit ton of names on them, right?
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
for people that she can.
So Shin just told her all those.
Yeah. So we only
Shin's
get to
got-
hear the relevant ones.
561 names in the memory.
Bro, he's good.
561 names.
Bro, that's a bit. I don't think I can even like name 561 names in general.
But like those names, like
Just
are
go like
supposed to
Kevin
carry
Zhang,
more
Kevin
weight,
Zhang,
like-
Kevin Zhang,
As in different names.
Eric Chen, Eric Chen, Eric Chen. Dude, I know so many different.
All right. Pretty good. I'm enjoying 86. I like
Yeah.
the storytelling for sure. But honestly, you show me a cute white-haired girl, it's a 10 out of 10 for me any day.
Dude, do you know her character design? What she reminds you of? Like she reminds me of Jibril from their game No Life. It looks kind of.
Because she has the double. Okay.
Does Jibril have that as well?
Yes.
No way.
She has at least one.
Let's see.
Oh no, she got like fucking thing on her head. Oh, that's a halo. How come
Wait,
the
it looks-
dumbest character in this show doesn't have an Ahoge?
Which
Well,
one's the
her
dumb-
goes cancels out, man.
Oh, true.
Dude, she's so innocent, man.
Brainer?
Called her a
Yeah.
shoujo. GG.
Actually, that was funny. The difference between shoujo and shoujo.
Dude, like, this is gonna be an arms race, man. Next anime is gonna come up with 3 Ahugets.
Oh, true.
And then you have like that a female character with a styled hairstyle, like with the hair product, right? So all the hairs are Ahugets, like spiky hairs.
Then we go full
Every
circle and
single
it's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like,
Every Yu-Gi-Oh character has like 10 Ahoges.
every named Yu-Gi-Oh character.
Oh, true.
Who plays card games in this room? Or just look at the hair.
Yeah, Phipps. You ever seen Phipps' hair, bro? That shit stands up. Anyway, holy shit, it's 11.
Do we do actual podcasts or do we like?
That basically was a podcast.
Yes, discussion portion of the podcast.
Yep.
All right, the podcast. Yeah.
We could
I
just,
think. Yeah, I think we should probably like split it up better.
Mhm.
Kind of just kept talking.
Bro, I love this show too much to not keep talking.
Yeah, actually, the
Not
this
bad.
show is actually excellent. But
Poggers. Alright, what are we doing? What's the call? End stream and do
What's
a
the
new one, or
I'll keep this stream as it is, and I guess
Yeah,
we
I
keep
think
going.
this time we just keep it, and
Sure.
then next time maybe we just like separate it
mm-hmm.
because we're already like talking.
About 2 hours in, yeah.
Yeah, because we talked about a bunch about anime, sort of like anime in general as well. Did we talk about Vivi at all, by the way?
A little bit.
I mean, I said that the episode was it's pretty good.
Yeah, we talked about it after we finished the episode,
Yeah, so that was.
which is I think when you were gone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait, did Phipps is Phipps up to date with Vivi?
I am not up to date with Vivi.
We just watched episode 4, did we?
Yep,
yeah,
so
the episode was good.
episode
I like
4 for Vivi, episode 4 for 86, and episode 3, what, To Your Eternity?
Yeah,
Really,
so we have
yeah.
yet to watch episode 4 for To Your Eternity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's episode 4 for Eternity Eternity already.
That
think
is
it's
episode 4.
Should be. Not as excited as I was after episode 1, but still good.
So
For episode 1,
Yeah,
was
like-
nuts.
Vivi is I mean like 86 is like going uphill, right? But the To Your
Mhm.
Eternity feels like it's going a bit downhill from the first episode. Like granted, the first episode was quite like it was excellent, right? So anything would pretty
Yeah.
much be worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Pretty much. I think, yeah, like, I don't even expect it to hold up like the quality of storytelling from episode 1. It's more just like it kind of like fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
I sort of optimistically expected it to be as good as episode 1 every single
Oh yeah,
episode.
I'm gonna say me too.
They peaked too soon, just like us.
Dude, like
Uh,
episode 1 was like 9, 10. Episode 2 was like 6, 7.
Yep.
Episode 3 was like maybe like 6, 7 as well. It's
yeah,
like
going a little bit downhill man, for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vivi is like started at like a 4, 5, and then it became like 5. It became like a 5, 6. Now it's like a 6, 7. It's gone up a bit.
This episode 4 was really like they really did the Violet Evergarden style of like self-contained episode with like really emotional scene at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
they
You
lost
just
it.
play the sad music at the end. You always gotta do that.
Talk a bit too much about Violet Evergarden, but isn't that just what Vivi is, man? This is just Violet Evergarden. Come
Yep.
on.
And sorry, I'm
But
pretty
it's,
happy.
it's fucking worse animation. Like, dude, Violet Evergarden, part of like what makes the show good was just the production quality, like the
Mm.
excellent animation and like integration of music and stuff. Which
Yeah,
is
of course.
absent in Vivi, I would not like to say, but
Unfortunately,
Like I
true.
think if anything that made me watch like any of Violet Evergarden was because of the way it looked. Like it was like
Mhm.
so good looking.
yeah, the way it looked, like all the voice acting, all the like just the production quality in general.
Yeah, of course. Oh,
And,
dude,
like-
do you know, like when there's like a fighting scene at the end of Vivi,
Oh, yeah.
I was a little disappointed. Like you guys were saying that the animation was
It's like
pretty
10
good.
FPS. Man.
Yeah, it
You
was
can
low
tell
It
FPS.
was pretty fucking bad, bro.
Ah, but the fighting, yeah, you can follow the fighting.
Like it reminds me of God of High School. Like it was really cringe when God of High School first released, and there was like fight scenes, right? But the fighting looked like the fighting from Vivi, and people were like, "Oh my god, this state of the art body tracking fight scenes," and I'm just like, "What? Dude, what is this like next episode? Like I don't see any of that happening." Yet.
Mm.
It's like X-arm fighting scenes.
Yeah, like I mean, like you watch like shit like Fate.
Yep.
Dude, those fighting scenes are like what I'm expecting when I hear like good fighting scenes, you know, like
Like Demon Slayer movie.
Yeah, like Demon Slayer. Like, dude, that shit's so good. Like One Punch Man is so good. Like in like Fate is so good. But dude, come on, man.
It's just not good.
Was it? It's like
Vivi is
God of
just
High
not
School,
that good.
bro. Dude,
I guess the difference
Vivi-
is like the focus, right? Because like a lot of those, the focus is on the fighting.
it's more like I think it's more to do with the cinematography.
Yeah.
So like, well, I guess that is sort of focus. Like, it's the way they manipulate the camera
Mm-hmm.
is what creates like, because if you watch like Attack on Titan fight scenes as well, like they're not like super high budget like art
Okay.
frames, right? Like there's not like a lot of like art. I mean, it is pretty good, but like the way the camera moves, like the dynamic feel with like the weight of each movement,
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes it like a good fight.
It's closer
scene,
to like an actual movie, non-animated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
I think in anime especially, you can really explore like camera angles that you can't really do in real life that easily. You know,
That's
like,
true.
think about like crazy like camera shots, like zooming through. I don't know, like
Like 360 spins around
Exactly.
something.
exactly.
Yeah. If you're talking about Attack on Titan fight scenes, though, a lot of the weight of the fight scenes comes from like the weight of the characters, like as well, like the
Yeah,
backstory, the events, and like the voice acting, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I'll give like an example of Levi fighting the Beast Titan in like the last season. I think it was like season like
Season
it was
three?
like part
Season
1,
3, part 2.
yeah, season 3, part 2 maybe. Yeah, but
Wow.
it wasn't like this season, and I think it was I think it was the season before this one. So I think it's part
Yeah,
1, season 4,
3,
maybe?
part 2.
Season 3, part 2. All right. But yeah, like that was like a really awesome scene because like, you know, like I don't know, everything just felt really fluid and like there's a lot of weight to like the impacts, and you know, Titan's like slow and you know can't react to movements as fast, and like you know everything just felt really cool. Obviously, like the camera angles and stuff.
Dude, you know, that episode with the fucking Irwin's fight and the fucking like Arming vs Colossal Titan, man, that episode was like good fight scenes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no.
fight scenes in anime. Oh, dude, one of my personal favorite fight scenes in anime is one in Mob Psycho. I don't know. Maybe we should watch it, but like, yeah, I'll see if I can find the link. Maybe you can like chuck it on the stream. Like, personally, I think this is my favorite fight scene. This is
Where am I
very
looking?
so if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe chuck it on stream.
I
Just, like,
will.
watch it. 60 FPS, bro. That's illegal. Anime is only 30 FPS.
Can be 60. Where am I sharing? Window capture. Give me 1 sec. Don't actually have a window capture enabled, but this should be it.
Maybe we should like watch this and we can react to this. Yeah.
Sure. You guys can jump on stream for a sec.
I am up to date with 86.
Oh, did you watch? Wait, did you watch all the episodes?
You just watched
Yep.
3 episodes?
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna play a
That's
clip
two
on
times-
stream.
two times speed.
We're
Yeah,
watching a
sweet.
clip on stream and
Alright.
then catch up on what David thinks now.
Cool.
Before and after.
なんだったんだあいつは
That's the main character.
Kozo, お前もか弟を離せじゃないとおいつまにバリアなんて張ってやがんのか人に抜けちゃダメだけど今は別だなめるなよクソガキ超能力者のガキにはそれ用のお仕置きの仕方ってもんがある 泣け。
開けない吸えないお腹が熱い
驚いたか。俺の技はお前のバリアを掘削機のようにうがつ。
兄さん
さてよ、弟を守るんだろ。
まずい殴られすぎているぞ死ぬぞマジかよ兄さんやめろもうやめてくれ僕を連れて行けそれが目的なんだろだから
賢明な判断だが俺は意地悪でね。その顔が気に入らんな。敵意満々のその顔がな。
おいお前こんなの初めてだわかるかああ僕も敵
俺が手をつかされた。
ハンマーガキにあの男終わった僕たちにひどいことをした大人のお兄さん言っとくけどお前のせいだからな二度と僕たちの前に顔を出すな面倒な硬いさっきとは別物
Yo, what the fuck? He just killed him.
Okay.
Did they
Not
play the
bad.
part afterwards?
Oh.
Anyways,
Part
there's like a little bit more afterwards where like he actually gets up and then like he like fought dirty basically. But yeah, this part, yeah, it's pretty good. But can you see like what people can do like in anime in terms of like fight scenes?
It looks a lot like Dragon Ball Z fight scenes.
Hmm.
From what I remember.
It's like very dynamic.
Yeah.
And like I think one thing that what I mean by like what A1 lacks is a lot of like facial expressions. Like that shit's like facial expressions, you know what I'm saying? So, like each hit looks like it fucking hurt, you know?
Bro, you feel that shit in your bones.
Yeah.
I felt that.
So, hot
camera
take.
angles and stuff as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, like obviously you can break it down, but you know when you watch it, you're like, damn, that was pretty pog.
That was pretty good.
That's me.
Damn, I didn't know that's what Mob Psycho was about.
I mean, a little backstory, right? So basically, Mob Psycho is like about the main kid,
Mm-hmm.
Kageyama, who's like an insanely strong Esper, like who basically like control everything, right?
Mhm.
But then like he wants to live a normal life where, you know, he doesn't have to rely on his skills as an Esper to do things for him.
Sure.
Mm.
But then like, you know, that's why he said at the start, I was like, oh, I'm not meant to use this against people.
Ah,
Because
true.
like he said he made a promise to himself to not like hurt people with it.
But then he had some
So, like-
people with it to protect his little bro.
Yep.
Interesting.
But then his bro like leveled up? Or was
No,
that
his bro. Oh, well, later on he does, but like right now, like his bro's like pretty useless. Basically, doesn't have any.
Yeah.
Oh, next, Goto. Yes, the song's a pretty cool fight scene as well. I think better art.
What do you
This
say,
is
Mitch?
this is the shonen dream.
Yeah, dude, this scene was I was like, dude, this show is kind of pog, bro.
Shouldn't dream. Play some Mortal Kombat fucking finisher scenes. That's
That's
Wait,
true.
are you guys
That's-
planning on seeing the new Mortal Kombat movie?
Probably
Yes,
not.
haven't seen
for
it.
it.
I've seen the ads for it, but I don't know.
Have you guys seen the new League of Legends?
That's what I'm saying.
True. I'm kind of hyped for that, but you
I'm
know,
so hyped for that. Alright, do you want me to play this? Jujutsu Kaisen.
Sure.
Let's go. Play it on stream.
誰が大したことないって教授が傷ついたか楽しくなってきたわざわざ人のいないところで枯れ吉中音と爆発の二段構え真実に生きておらん万事集約ヘドが出るこのくだりさっきやったよねバカなさっきとはわけが違うわしは確かに触れて殺した、教えてあげるほらほらね僕はこのまま握手してもいいんだけどまだまだ無限はね至るところにあるんだよ術式反転赤おちょうどいいかごめんごめん見学の虎杖裕二君ですまあ君は気にせず戦ってよ大丈夫でしょだって君弱いもんなめんだよコッパがそのにやけ面ごと飲み込んでくれる領域展開外観鉄地線これが領域展開領域に対する最も有効な手段こっちも領域を展開するあいつら残さんぞ合流させる領域展開無料空所
This guy's eyes.
ここは無加減の内側皮肉だよね全てを与えられると何もできず
Shit, I got wrecked.
Looks like a One Punch Man episode.
Oh, so
Looks like a shonen fight
this
scene.
is part of the show.
I don't think it's part of the episode.
So I'm suddenly interested.
Yeah,
Hot
this-
girls. There's
Dude,
more?
One Punch Man, the last fight against fucking the space dude, dude, that shit was oh my god. So I'm pretty sure it was like one episode long. Like the whole episode was just
Yeah,
them two
well, it's
fighting.
just the fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was some real hype shit, man. Oh my god.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think with these anime fights, like there's two parts of it, like just like watching the animation, like the voices and stuff, without the voice acting. I mean, without the any context or backstory at all. So just watching the fight in itself, and also like just the significance of the fight. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen, so I don't know like how significant this fight is.
It's
Yeah, if you watch
it's not
it-
that significant, I'd say.
Yeah.
Basically, like the scene before this, like you just the dude's like a bit of an asshole, you know, like the volcano guy.
Yeah.
But
Just beats him up.
Volcano head.
same with like the mob one. Like you don't know, like literally, like you don't know much about what's going on. Oh, when that guy came, the guy Kageyama's fighting, there's just some random guy from like this institution that wants to kidnap psychics.
Yep.
That seems so.
Honestly, I think like fights in anime don't even have to have like good animation to
Oh yeah.
be good fights. Just talking about that fighting Attack on Titan, like arming and the Colossal Titan. Right? Like half that scene is just a still frame. Like, it's actually just a still frame, with, like with voices. Like you know the one I'm talking about, the
Probably.
one where like Armin was, I don't know, I guess was fine. It was like the one where is he getting like burned by the Colossal Titan.
Which season was this?
It's season 3, like the one where like he baits the Colossal Titan, like so that Eren kills it.
Right.
The one just after like the one like where Erwin was fighting the Beast Titan at that point.
Oh, was that the same scene?
Yeah, it's the same scene, same scene.
Right.
But, like that one, like Armin doesn't even do anything. Right? He doesn't even do anything. All you do is like hear his internal dialogue.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember because it was like hanging on, right?
Yeah, he was just hanging on. And this is like the music and like what he says that like makes just probably like one of my favorite fights in Attack on Titan. Like one of the top few like out of all anime.
Yeah, that's respectful, bro.
I actually just fucking know it's just a still frame basically.
Yeah.
Yepers.
Yeah, there's a lot of weight to like what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait,
very
like
sacrificial.
stuff backed by the story.
Yeah.
Story backed fights. I mean, said
Like-
that if you look at a fight by itself, isn't the best fights just the fucking like shad fights like Fist of North Star and like I don't know, like Street Fighter.
Dude,
Street
honestly,
Fighter
like
feature scenes.
Fist of the North Star has some really good animation on their fights.
What like you think the animation? I mean, like you can't really judge it by today's standards, but if you
No,
do,
no,
then
no,
it's
I'm saying it's
fucking
good.
shit, bro.
No, it's
It's
actually
cool.
not bad. It's actually not bad. The animation actually looks like brutal as.
I watched the show, man. I actually watched the show. Like,
I've seen bits of it. It doesn't look that bad. I think
Sick.
like if you want to talk about like non-action fights, you also have to talk about like, you know, like fights between like friends and stuff. You know, like I guess like a good example is in ping pong. Like it's an anime about like playing ping pong, right? And the story follows like two friends, but then like obviously throughout the course of the anime, like there's also obviously like conflict and stuff, right? And there's like a fight between the two guys. Like, yeah, there's no like action or anything. They're just like shouting at each other, but like it means a lot, you know. Yeah, I definitely agree. Voice acting and like the context of behind the fight is also very important.
That gives it its weight.
Yeah.
talk about those fight in a more broad context as well. Like, dude, Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Like, duels in Yu-Gi-Oh, like, feels so fucking like dramatic as well. Yu-Gi-Oh specifically, like, just if you call that fighting, like, actually feels like one of the most dramatic shows just for fighting.
Dude, I just remember that one scene where the guy's like, dude, he's already dead. Dude, like the guy with the bug. the
Doro!
glasses,
Oh,
No,
the
no.
Monster Guard one. Oh,
Monster
Monster
Guard.
Guard.
He's
Just
already
kills the dude.
dead.
Here's the medicine man.
And then fucking you need the woman like hugging him as well. Fucking hair.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Like people just like made a loop of that shit.
Doro! Monster Guard! Anyway, what are we missing? Oh yeah, David watched 86. Thoughts?
Oh yes, yes.
Oh yeah. It's so slow. Dude, it's so slow. Nothing happens.
At 2x speed?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I watched 3 episodes, right? And like literally in the 3 episodes, it was, we got the premise of it being a Germany-esque Aryan race bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got her communicating with the squadron, and then them being in a fight and someone dying, they got upset, she got upset, and then they made up, right? It's literally it. Right? No? Yeah?
More or
Yeah,
less.
that's like the 3 episodes.
3
Like-
episodes? Yeah. There's a bot
It's
scene
just
somewhere.
so slow, dude. It's so slow. Like nothing ever happens. Like you can say that. Obviously, you can argue that. You can be like, oh, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. There's this emotional aspect where she learns how to call people by their name rather than by their call sign. Everyone thinks that she's naive and playing with her, like, but none of them feels, it just doesn't connect emotionally. There's no, like, you can be, this is a type of anime that you can watch when you're like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you have nothing else to do for the day, you're like relaxing, you can binge watch this with no problem, because like this is like a bit of slice of life. Right now, nothing's going on. Like they're having fun. They're
You like the
making
bath
jokes.
scene, bro?
Right, dude, that was
86 is
great.
slice of life. Then what are you calling not slice of life?
Dude, no. The past 3 episodes of 86. What happens that you go, oh shit? You don't even see the person dying. You just see them being like, I don't want to die.
Isn't that the whole point of that scene, that you don't see the person dying? Like you see all the other deaths, but this point you don't see the death. Like isn't that intentional? Because that's what Lena sees.
Yeah. So she feels no connection, right? Like she feels bad for the death. I don't even feel bad for the death. Like I'm just like, ah, shit happens, right? She's seen tens of thousands of other like not tens of thousands, but like many other 86ers die, right?
But yeah,
We've seen
like,
that.
as a handler, like the only other person she saw die was Kujo.
I
I
think like
mean,
From
one of the
episode one.
things is that like they like obviously she forms like an emotional attachment to like the people she handles, right? But like it doesn't feel like she does, you know? Like on paper she's meant to, right? She's like, oh, you know, oh, stop getting like your feelings involved, stop getting so emotional with these kids, like stop caring them about them as like they're humans. Sure, but like the stuff that she does doesn't make it feel like if I did what she did, I wouldn't have like an emotional attachment, even if I cared about them as humans, you know?
Yeah, well, like that's. I mean, like the normal person would act like the other people in District One, wouldn't they? Like
Well,
it
yeah.
takes an extraordinary type of person to have
I
like, this much
don't-
compassion for it.
I think what this show needs is a reason for the audience to understand why she acts this way.
What, like, isn't that what Kaya, like the one who died, Kaya was just talking about, like at the previous point in the episode, like their communication where Kaya was in.
Yes,
like,
where
the-
she said she was saved by a processor and stuff like that, right? Right?
and that's gotta be Shin's brother.
right? Like the thing is that start off with that. Why are you not starting off with that?
Why would you start off with that?
Why would you not start off with that? It makes the character. Without it, the character is empty. Right? The character has no basis except for that statement. That statement was so like quickly brushed over.
No, but like this is a character like who has compassion, right? Like as opposed
That's what
to
you're. I feel like you're portraying the character as how you would hope they would be. Sort of like, like the stuff happens. Like she should know this, therefore she acts like this, right? But like from like a very objective point of view, like nothing really was delved into deep enough for like the consequences or for the actions to occur. Like it just there's like that sort of disconnect there for me.
Do you agree that she's naive? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you agree that she's also pretty dumb?
well, I wouldn't say she's pretty dumb, right?
Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I wouldn't. Yeah, dumb is not a good word. I would say she is
She's naive.
lacking wisdom
Yeah, like
and reality, like in the reality of things, right?
that's true.
And how she acts seems very. It's yeah. I think a very good description that I heard was that she acts like a princess.
It's like
And
She
more
is a
specifically,
princess, right?
a Disney princess.
I
You
mean,
know those?
If
You
you
know
think
those
about her
movies?
position in her country, she basically is the princess, right? If her dad was like the former leader and her uncle is now the current leader.
Yeah, but then why would she believe in this bullshit compassion? Why would she be on the front lines being saved by any like?
No, because her dad showed her what he believed in, which is like the reality of these people dying. Right? Because everyone in whatever
And why-
country this is living that
why-
lie.
Why? Okay, then why is that not explored? Why is that just told to us? Why do we not get to see that?
As in, we do see that
Yeah,
when
we
we
do
get the
see that.
flashback with her dad, right?
I think you're watching this at 2 times speed. and
I think I might have watched it too fast. I skipped some of the important.
Yeah,
The
actually, like,
flashbacks are
missing
pretty quick,
details.
but like she has a flashback where she goes to the front lines. Like her dad takes her as a
Yeah,
child
yeah,
to the front lines.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then I think
Yeah.
that scene is like essentially looking at her past, right, and looking at how she grows her character through that experience. And like I have no doubt we're coming back to that soon, because that seems important.
I mean, I would hope so.
Just
It feels
like,
like
what's wrong with having a character that has compassion? Like even if there's just like no basic reason for it, right? Like a character who like is defined by their compassion is like very human.
No, because in a state like this, having compassion is very inhuman. Like when you're in a society where everyone treats someone like a slave, having compassion in that point is very inhuman. It's not natural. Imagine if you were living in Nazi Germany. Would you have compassion for Jewish people if you were an Aryan?
I'm not
Very
saying I would
unlikely.
have necessarily compassion for the Jewish people, but like looking back, it would be an admirable trait to have, compassion for the Jews. Like if you were a Nazi. It
Yeah, but
shows,
you're
like,
saying
going
your point.
against.
I agree, but your point was that it was human. It's not. I don't think it is human to have that emotion because it's a lot easier and it's a lot more normal in that situation for someone not to have compassion.
Yeah, but I think compassion is a human trait, right? Like having compassion for other living things, like other humans, like even those who you view as subhuman, like that is just a human trait in general,
I think
rather than like
what
we're not talking
David's
about
saying
like
is more
what's
like as a
easiest.
member of society.
Not
That's what
in
you would
this
do,
sense.
right?
Not
Yes,
not
I
in
think
yeah.
an
But
average
as in,
member of
I
society.
think the compassion is like what Serena's saying, a human
Yeah.
trait. Whereas
Yeah,
like what you would actually do, even if you did have compassion in, let's say, Nazi Germany, like even if you were compassionate, there were not many Nazis who like harbored Jews, for example.
Yeah.
like, it's a matter of like courage and compassion. Like the courage to go against what your like peers and society are saying,
Mhm.
and also like feeling that compassion.
Mhm.
Like those are admirable traits,
Mhm.
and also like inherently human to some extent.
And if we look back at history, like the Germans who did harbor Jews are looked upon very admirably.
Yeah. But there is always a reason for that occurring, right? There's always a special situations for those particular Germans.
Is it not their compassion and courage?
Like you wouldn't say that compassion is baseless, right? Or that courage is baseless.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so it's like people have courage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everyone has courage in itself. Some people have more of it than others, that I can agree with. But having like extreme courage is not natural. Having extreme compassion is not natural.
Is it wrong to do what you believe in?
No, but on an extremity, like Gandhi doing what he did is not natural for a human being. It is admirable, but it is not. You would not say everyone could do what he did, or like most people could do what he did, right?
Yeah, because most people don't have the same like view on life as
Yeah.
each
So this
other.
is why this is what I mean. You need a reason in order for him. Like I would say, a lot of people do have his reasoning, right? Wouldn't you agree? Like most people believe in religion,
I'll
but
say like
like
people's actions are justified by like their own like experiences, right? And like even like for most people, they act, you know, with the crowd because that's what they see everyone else doing. And obviously, there's going to be select people with like higher levels of admiral traits because of a past experience. Where in this case, like with Lena, she like I don't know, like experienced like the front lines with her father and saw that the people of 86 weren't just like non-human things, they were actually like humans or whatever, and like that affected her in some way to make her like more compassionate. But like I get that, but like my issue is that it doesn't feel like it's enough, you know? Like sure, you told me that she experienced all of this, sure, like she should be a compassionate character, right? But like it like just based on what the anime has told me, like okay, like she should be a compassionate character, why don't I feel like she needs to be a compassionate character? That's the sort of thing. Like there's like the inconsistency of what happens in the anime versus what you would expect from someone in order for them to experience like extreme amounts of whatever they're having, or in this case like compassion and love for non-humans.
But I'm saying that even if that scene wasn't shown to us, like that scene was shown to us, right? But even if it weren't, it wouldn't be wrong for someone to like have compassion and well the ability to
for
express that
80s.
compassion.
No, but why would they have compassion? That's my question. If that scene wasn't shown to us, what would be her reason to show compassion? Because they're not human.
You don't need
They're
a reason to show
slaves.
compassion to things, right? Like do you show compassion to like animals or like I don't know.
No, but do you
Like-
show compassion to an egg carton or a water bottle?
I mean, by your logic, Abraham Lincoln is like a crazy person, right?
You may, yeah. That's a good example, right? Abraham Lincoln. Like, why would you show compassion to slaves, for example?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't show compassion to slaves, right?
But like someone who did will, like, is regarded like possibly by future generations as admirable, and that's not something that's that's
Like with the Abraham Lincoln example, right? So Abraham Lincoln was obviously fighting for like the rights of slaves and like getting the abolition of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
But he's coming from a point of view, and you know his whole backstory, right? Why he's fighting for slaves,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
not like he's just suddenly like, ah, shit, man, dude, the situation is so
Yeah.
bad, I'm gonna
Yeah.
fix that shit, right? Like
that's
there's
fine,
all the
right?
story
That's
that
fine.
he has to, or experiences that he has to go through before he got to the point where he decided that this is it with slavery. But like with the anime, like Lena doesn't go through enough. It doesn't feel like she goes through enough.
And
just
also,
shown in the anime.
about Abraham Lincoln, the reason that he wanted to free slavery wasn't purely because he wanted to free slaves.
Political reasons.
It was also because of political
I'm
reasons.
sure it's legal,
And-
but as in like if you don't treat them even like if society doesn't even treat slaves as humans, like why would you bother with such a campaign.
And like, why does Abraham Lincoln need necessarily an
Okay,
experienced force to have
okay.
it?
I am not an expert in this, but I can say for certain that one of the reasons why, so Abraham Lincoln, when the American Civil War started, it was not because he actually was still for pro-slavery when the war started. Okay, so he started a war and it was still pro-slavery. But the thing is that the Republicans, or what was it? What was the thing called? I'm really bad with this history.
It is
But they
Republican.
it was the main
Abraham Lincoln was
yeah.
Republicans.
yeah, Abraham Lincoln was I don't know. Okay, the other side was the main problem was getting help from England. And what was happening is in England was that they were starting to abolish slavery as well. And in order to get the support from the English government, what they had to do was change their motive to, oh, we're also abolishing slavery, so they're trying to stop us, then England, you should support us. That was the main reason.
Okay.
To get the supplies from England, right? Because back then, America wasn't that powerful. They needed the support of the English Navy, and that was the main reason why they started to abolish slavery. Like now, like again, I'm not like you should probably search it up, and I probably don't know as much, but like
Disclaimer.
disclaimer,
History teacher.
but just don't be like, oh, Abraham Lincoln was, because you guys all know that Abraham Lincoln held slaves, and there's a reason why he held slaves, because he wasn't like, oh, I hate slaves, I'm not gonna hold any. He didn't mind having slaves. Like he was pro-slavery for a very long time.
Mhm.
Like it was more because of political reasons that he changed, or the stance of his party and his army changed.
Right.
And then
Actually,
afterwards there was like a whole shift back into recessing back into slavery and stuff like that.
I have
So
no idea.
yeah.
But
But
I
like
think the fact that-
the merit, like everything like this is what I mean. It's like you can't make everything, oh, you're compassionate. Like there's so much more nuances in it that she never suffers from. Like she never feels any moral dilemma from
yeah.
the from
Like
the
that, and also like you say that, of course, like in the past she has experienced it, like the anime literally shows you, but like it, like my comment is that it shows me that, like, you know, whatever happened in the past and like the stories that she tells, but it doesn't feel like it's enough, you know, like it doesn't, like, maybe it's like the voice acting, or maybe it's like the art or the animation, but like, you know, when all of that happens, right, it's not like she's like, you know, it just doesn't feel like she really should be as like her as she is right now.
But hang on,
Yeah.
let me ask you this then. Like, if you were to do an act of good at some point, right? You want to like give to charity, or you want to, like, you know, save an animal that's wounded or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you need a previous experience? Like, do you need a prior experience to motivate that act of good?
Yes.
Probably, yeah,
I
because like
don't think
you've been
so.
taught, like, you know, oh, cute animals, oh, so cute, you know, don't hurt it.
There's a reason why you do everything, right? And I guess this is more philosophical. Like I'm of the belief that there is a reason that you every action that you do, it has a reasoning, and like all your experiences behind that action. But like some people do not believe that, and that's completely fine with me. But yeah, because I believe in that, I would think if you were donating to a charity or donating, there must be reasons before. Your parents did it before. They taught you that it's good morals, so now you donate to charity as well because you want to support a good cause, right? Simple. But in Nazi
There's
Germany,
many different other reasons.
yeah,
but
there's
like,
like tons of other reasons. But like if I was gonna do that, that would be my primary reason and my primary experiences behind that reason, right? So if you say that doing a good act is purely good, I would not agree.
As in,
like-
is it wrong to just do something good for the sake of doing something good?
no, there's nothing.
But how
wrong with
do you,
that.
no.
As
The
in,
main question is
do-
how do you
would
know
you-
that it's good?
As
How
in-
does she know that it's good?
Sure. But as in, like, let's say, taking Serene's example, if you saw like a wounded animal or something by the side of a road, like, what previous experience makes you want to help that?
What
Like,
previous
would you guys help it?
I
Because
mean,
if I see like an animal on the street injured, like, I probably wouldn't help it.
Yeah.
Someone might, like, even it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. if you
exactly,
would,
right?
But some
Like-
people would, right?
Some people would, and that's because they care about animals. Maybe
Because
had
they've
pets
cured,
or, like,
they've had it
like-
before. They understand how to do it, right?
I mean,
Like-
Or
must
they
they
just, like-
necessarily have had such an experience to be willing to help an animal?
Like,
Or, to help
yeah, I would
anything?
say like they've had some sort of experience in the past where like they felt like helping an animal is the right thing to do.
Like, let's say you take a blank slate of a human with no experience of anything.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
see something suffering.
Isn't that to your eternity?
Sure.
He sees that boy suffering, right?
Yeah. And he like accompanies
Didn't
that
do
boy.
anything. Yeah, he just accompanies it because he's just interested to see what's happening.
But he tries.
No,
like,
because he
tries-
gives him food. He gives him food,
Oh,
and that's why he wants to drag him along because he wants more food, right?
oh, yeah, that's
You
what-
you wouldn't say that that's because of his compassion because he hasn't learnt that yet.
But this thing doesn't know what food
Yeah,
is
I mean,
either,
that
so
thing
it
also-
doesn't, like isn't motivated by food either.
Also doesn't.
He's
know
not
what
motivated, but
compassion is.
he enjoys it. You can see that he enjoys it.
No, but
like
as
going
in-
back to the point where like it's just like a brand new like baby out of the womb,
Mhm.
you know, sees a dead animal on the sidewalk. Do you like? Would you really think that it would know what to do, or even know that it's like
As another baby,
injured
as in just
and
like
needs help?
This kind
imagine
of
like
kindness is observed in children, like
right?
very young children.
Like,
at
I
that.
think
Yeah, yeah.
that,
But like very young versus straight out of the womb is two different things, right?
as in
Like,
very
straight out of the womb means they have no interactions or like hasn't learned anything yet.
This just goes back to nature versus nurture, right?
I
Human
think
human
it goes
nature.
back to a human inherently like evil or good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
they're inherently just neutral. Like obviously when a kid is born, right? You know, they get cuddles from mom, you know, they get fed by mom, and then like, you know, they go home and they live with mom and dad. You know, like all of that is an experience that makes them a good person, right? Imagine like a kid's gone home and they just get neglected and then they get beat up every now and then for crying. Like it's gonna grow up and not be as compassionate. If not, I wouldn't think they're compassionate at all, right?
Sure, but like what you're saying is that positive experiences make you like good and negative experiences make you bad, right?
Oh, I'm saying like there are experiences that occur to someone that change the way they perceive.
Well,
the
of
world.
course, but I'm just saying like in contrast or like on a different note entirely. If a person like are people naturally not compassionate?
Well, I wouldn't say they're naturally compassionate either.
The,
No,
the,
I
the,
think what
I
you're
think
saying-
compassion. I think compassion needs to be learnt. You need to understand what compassion is. You need to see it in action
Yeah.
before
Like,
you
it's-
understand what it means.
Because like
Right.
for
It's like-
me,
Okay, I guess David, you're technically correct. Like that is technically correct. Like if you consider the technical things, like yeah, you have to learn stuff, right?
Yeah.
To do the stuff. However, like for a person, like let's say a 15-year-old to be
Mm.
saving a wounded animal on the side of the street, like using
That's
that as an example,
unrealistic.
right? Like that, sure, like they would have had some experience like that, but no one's gonna ask them to justify like why they do that, right? Like
Yeah,
that
they're
is
not going to
something
know how to
that is
justify it
required by
either.
society.
They're just going to be like, "Oh, I wanted to save it because I felt like it."
yeah, like they felt it's
Yeah,
the right
like-
thing to
so
do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
sufficient, like a
And
sufficient.
yeah,
justification.
it
But
is
this
sufficient.
this is okay. Now, what about this? Okay, a person finds a rat in a cage in a kitchen and he lets a rat go.
Right.
Is that compassionate?
Yeah, that's compassionate.
Yeah.
You could say that some people
Right? Like, this is what I mean. Like, society accepts the first case, but doesn't always accept the second case.
Wait, what's the first and second case?
The first case is saving a deer on the side of a road, right? Like saving an injured animal on the side of a road. The second case is letting a rat out from a cage.
I mean, that's the
No,
thing.
both
right?
of them are
when you
compassionate,
start
though.
to like value different lives differently, that's when like you have discrimination essentially, right?
Yeah.
'Cause, like to
so
us, we I guess as humans, in terms of like how much we care about animals, like a deer is something we'd care more about than like a rat, right?
yeah, exactly. So this is why I find this situation very weird.
Right.
She showing compassion to 86 is not compassionate in most people's eyes. Because they treat them as pigs and rats. Like that's literally from the quoting from them, right? Like pigs.
Yeah, they treat them
Right.
as pigs, but as in like if you
You're not treating them as pigs, but they are. So for her to treat them not as like as an injured animal, then that would be weird for them, right? Because just like how me letting a rat out in a kitchen, after it was trapped, being very weird, right?
I mean, it's just like where you draw the line, right? Like this comes back to the whole argument of like why we value certain animals more than others. Like,
Yeah. All right.
like
Let
if
me
we eat
see how
like
I
a cow,
summarize.
well, if you guys eat a cow, because I didn't eat cows, but if you guys eat a cow, everyone's like, yeah, cool. But like if you ate
Yeah.
a dog, everyone would be like, what the fuck, bro, right?
Yeah,
And that's because
So I'm
society
just-
places
yeah.
this value on like certain animals to be
yeah.
more valuable than others as like pets.
And this is what I mean by compassion. Like,
Mm-hmm.
compassion depends on what society firstly expects. That society that we're watching in the show does not expect us to view with them with the compassion that you see from her. Like, you see her actions as being compassionate. They don't see that. And that's what makes it weird.
As in, they're not supposed to see that, right? Like the people who are spearheads, literally, like the people who revolutionize things, are the
Yeah.
people that society deems to be like weird and crazy, right? But they're also the
You
people
don't
who
have
bring
to
about
believe what
change.
society says.
But it is compassion is what society says.
No, compassion is what you believe in, right?
Mm,
Like if I choose to not eat animals, that's an act of compassion, even though to the rest of you, like it's normal to eat meat, right?
Yeah, but I'll still say it's compassion. No.
Like let's say that like the gold diggers from China came to Australia, right, at the 1700s, right, and the society was like discriminating against these people, like, and like let's say 90% of the society discriminates against these, 95% discriminates against these people, 5% are neutral or even sympathetic towards these people.
Yeah,
Which
but
seems like
the-
the case in this 86 universe, right? There's some people who are not like that
yeah,
much that
but there's all
discriminate
there's
against
yeah,
Then,
yeah. I
like,
completely
does that
understand.
mean that like what the majority believes is just the right thing? Like you can't go against the majority, or if it's like
I'm saying the 5% are
yeah,
weird. they're
they
not-
would be regarded as weird by society, but like this.
All right. Here's another question
Weird.
then, David. Just because she's weird, like so far, like you seem to have understand that like she can exist in the universe of 86, right? Like, do you believe that she can exist in the universe of 86 as just a weird
Yes.
person?
Yes.
Does that make the anime not good though, in your opinion? Like, because I feel like you're arguing from the perspective that because she's weird, it makes the anime not as good. Is that
It
sort of what you're
makes-
saying, or is that
it
different?
makes it okay, it makes it less okay. So if her character, if it is solely based on her compassion towards these people, then I would say it makes it worse, yes.
Okay.
Because no character should only be based on one thing. And her one thing is also very niche. There's no general things that she does that is normal for that society. Like you would like it would just be it would make a lot more sense for her to be compassionate, but not be so outwardly compassionate because society doesn't accept that. Even the people in Germany who was helping the Jews, they didn't go out in the streets and be like, "We want Jews to have rights," right?
Yeah, because like they know that they're just
Because,
gonna get, like,
yeah.
slammed, bro.
And
They
they
get
have fear of
slammed.
punishment, whereas she doesn't, right?
Yeah. I mean, in
she-
fact, she just like freely expresses her,
'Cause she
which I
was
do
in a
think is a
position-
fallacy with her character, right? Because
I mean,
like, like
she is protected because she is like fucking got nepotism.
she's literally the
Yeah.
princess of the state, so
Yeah.
she can go around saying
Which-
whatever she wants.
yeah, but I sort of agree with David at the point that really just takes away from her character, right? Because it just feels like it feels like such a disingenuous character. Like, you know, she's obviously set up to be in a position where she can like revolt and like create all of this, but it's like I don't know, like it
Okay.
doesn't seem like she should be the character that
I
does
don't
it.
think a princess should like even if you're a princess, like your growing up should be very different, right? To the fact that you revolting against your own position, right? Why don't you just lose your princess? Like, why don't you just lose your status? Why don't you go to the battlefield, right? She's showing
At this
compassion.
Rate, at this rate,
That's
she
what she
really
did.
might. Yeah.
Yeah, that's isn't that the point? Like, if she's showing compassion like this, like the question is that if you're like telling everyone, oh, they're humans,
Mhm.
like you should put that into action. and I guess
I think
she
next
does that. She
episode
might
she's
do
about
that.
to
Yeah,
that.
That's literally
yeah.
the plot point of episodes 3 and 4, right? That like pointing out her hypocrisy and like she realizing her own hypocrisy like that. That's the whole point of episode 4.
Yeah.
And like, we might even see like the title of episode 5, like I'm with you or something. She may really well just go on the battlefield.
But
That's it?
yeah,
It just feels
but
dumb,
like,
though.
but her going on the battlefield seems so dumb. Like,
Right, like,
how
everything
can she
about-
be so dumb? What the?
everything about like the characters don't feel human. Like you can argue that, you know, whatever she's doing like is okay and like people exist that way, but it's like it doesn't feel that way, you know. Like
She just,
I don't know, like it's just a feeling,
it's
and I
just- she
think
feels
it just comes down to like a
moronic.
lot of nuances and the way she speaks and like the way she interacts with people and like the things that she does. It just makes her not
She's
human.
retarded. That's
Yeah, like she
naive.
actually is probably
she's
like
retarded.
she's
This
actually
naive
probably like
sense of justice
autism or something. Like
is
she
fucking,
probably
like-
doesn't understand humans or something. Like, that's what I'm getting.
This naive sense of justice is actually
Yeah.
so human, man. In terms, I think.
Like,
But you grow out of
no,
it so quickly.
but don't you believe? Yeah, exactly. Like, don't you
Isn't-
believe
isn't
that?
what makes it human is the fact that like you're born with it naturally, and then being molded by society, you lose something that you inherently had.
But
Like, I
this-
think it'll be interesting to see her like fall apart in terms of like her pure sort of character. You know,
yeah, that would be nice.
Isn't that what
like
episode 3 was about?
Must be into that kind
She
of.
she did not lose
no,
shit
like she
in episode 3.
yeah, she experienced the loss, but then she didn't lose it because right afterwards she just went back to being like,
Oh,
I'm
so
here to, like,
sorry.
help
I
you
want to
guys
help
out.
you
As
Help
in,
you
guys.
that was her coming to terms with her hypocrisy, though, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, of course you can argue on the surface that what she did is, you know, going through the process, but it doesn't feel like it, right? Like an actual person would just be like, what the fuck, I'm gonna quit this shit, right? But then obviously to actually progress the plot, she can't do that. You know?
Yeah, but she's not the average person, right? The average person would have just quit from the very start, right? Like the average person would not, like,
Would not get an
take
anime
upon
made
this
about
duty
them.
in the first place.
But
Like, she's
Okay,
not
think
the
about-
average.
Think about this. You want to save a group of people, but the group of people don't even accept you. How would you feel?
Right, I mean, the average person would have just quit from the start, right?
No,
Like,
no, no.
the
But
average
this is
person-
no. Think about this. You are a person, a very very motivated person to save this group of people. But the moment you meet the group of people, they say they don't even like you. How would you feel?
Well, I mean, you feel pretty crushed, but like if
very
you
just.
do believe in what you believe in, like you will keep trying, and I think that's what she does, right? She tries to
Yeah.
like fix her
She gets
flaws. She
crushed.
tries to like reject her hypocrisy and like actually learn who they are as people, right? Because like a big plot point here is that the whole time she says she's been treating them as people and she doesn't see them as pigs, but
Is
hasn't
that-
even bothered to learn their names, right?
So is that what you would do in that situation?
That's not
Like
what I would do.
I'm assuming most like if I was writing this story and she faced this situation, she would request to move,
Yeah,
right?
sure, but like, couldn't you say the same about like 99% of anime? It's like the main character is so motivated by a certain goal that an average human would not be.
I would say that the good
I
anime
don't think
shows
so.
characters that don't do that.
I don't think so because if a character is always so motivated to do something, there has to be a reason for it, right? If you're that motivated, then the reason has to be insanely strong, like
Yeah.
so strong that it becomes your sole focus of your life.
And
Let's
why-
use
I
the
agree
analogy
with
of
that.
Nazi Germany again. Like, you want to
Okay.
help some Jews, right? And like, you talk to some Jews, and the Jews, like, they blame your like people because you're the only one who talks to them. Right? You're the only German who talks to them, and they're like, dude, you people killed my family. You people, like, you know, like, just wrecked our lives, right? And maybe you would think that's an understandable situation, and you would like partially agree with them to some extent because if you didn't, then you wouldn't have been like helping them out in the first place. So what I'm
I
saying
thi-
is the
in
same
that-
kind of people, the same
Mm.
kind of people who would take upon like that kind of self-sacrificial act would also be the ones who would persist in those actions.
Using that analogy, I would say in this situation was very different because someone did just die while she was handling, right?
Yeah,
So she was taking some responsibility for the fault,
right.
right? And they are blaming her for the death, right?
They're blaming like I think they're
Yeah.
just blaming her in general,
They're,
right?
they're not
Like
blaming her for the death, right? They're blaming the
They're blaming
system
her-
for
the
system. People.
putting her in the place, for putting the dead girl in the place that allowed her to die, right? Because like none of
Yes.
them are blaming her personally, but they're blaming her as being part of the system that has created.
They do say specifically not for her to not talk to them.
But they're
They
blaming her
can't.
hypocrisy there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not blaming her management of the other girl because she's not in charge of the other person.
Would you say they are directly attacking her though?
I think they're attacking her hypocrisy, right? So not her compassion or her willingness to help, because I honestly think they believe in her compassion, but they're trying to get her to realize how hypocritical she's been up to this point.
Okay, so I guess like the question is like, do you guys think the way she acted after she heard all of that was reasonable? Because like if she's not even directly getting targeted by like the comments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from what you guys think.
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't say that she will necessarily cry and break down.
No, 'cause
like
she's
I think she would probably like
realizing-
fight back, right?
No, she's realizing her own like mistake in this scenario, which is that like what she says and what she does, like the way she treats them, is
No, but like the thing is like in her personal like experiences, she is treating them like how she thinks she should treat them,
Mhm.
which is with compassion, right? That's how much compassion she believes she can.
But then
No,
she
but she's
realized,
realized
she didn't even
that-
ask for their names.
yeah, like she's realizing now that her thought, like what she thought was compassion, is
No,
completely
but like if I was in that position, I would be like, dude, I'm trying my best to like be as compassionate as hell to you guys, right? Like I didn't ask for your guys' name because I thought that's just how you guys would call each other. Like obviously maybe that's why like it feels like it's inhumane, but like you know, you wouldn't know. Like she wouldn't know.
No,
Right.
and that's why that conversation and that realization is
Yeah,
what breaks
but
it,
I'm
right?
saying like her actions don't like I personally wouldn't. Well, like I would say most people wouldn't just be like, I don't know, maybe it's a
Yeah,
girl thing.
yeah.
Like she should just start crying, right? They're not even attacking her, right? They're saying
If
that
you-
like
No.
you're not doing the stuff that makes us human.
No,
She
imagine
should
this,
be
right?
like, I am. I'm trying my fucking best to make you guys human. I just don't know what you guys want. Dude, maybe tell me your names if you
Like,
fucking want, right?
You wouldn't
Like-
do that. I wouldn't do that. Like we wouldn't do that. Most people wouldn't do that, right? But it's very consistent with her character. Right?
like think about this, right? Let's say you've been working towards a
Her
goal.
character sucks ass, bro.
Let's say you've been working towards a goal for like a really long period of time, right? Like you have
Might as well
this
be-
overarching goal that you really want to do, and like you've been doing it like daily for like your whole life, right? And then you get to like close to the end, and then like someone who is part of whatever you're trying to do tells you, everything you've been doing up to this point is wrong, and like
Yeah.
it's completely justified, right? Like,
Yeah, and then you've now fixed it in what, 4 hours, 5 hours?
I mean, sure, but it's that realization, right? It's realizing that what you thought is correct is not actually like what you should believe in.
I would like you would at least, because if you were fighting for something so hard that you personally believed in, you wouldn't suddenly just reject your own belief and just be like, oh shit, I just realized that I should have done this, you know?
No, she's
And start
molding her
crying.
belief, right? Like she still is compassionate and still believes that the 86 should be free, but she's realizing that
Yeah, but,
her
like-
attitude towards them was unconsciously like derogatory, right?
Usually, when a person is highly motivated, they are more unwilling to hear different
No, but she's like honest to a T, right?
because they because they are so certain. No, because what happens to them is that they become so focused on their own beliefs that they do not want to accept that their beliefs are incorrect because they've been fighting so hard over it, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's what I would
usually,
think.
yeah, but
Right
like
situation
the
to
people
do
that
that.
she's helping are the people telling her this, right? Like she's trying to relate to the 86, and that's like the source of the information that's telling her she's wrong.
But I would still like. Would you not still be like, hey, look, like at least say something like, hey, look, I'm trying my best here, right?
Bro,
like
if that
you'd say
dude's
something like, I'm
yelling
trying
at
my
you
best
like
here.
that-
Look, like I'm gonna learn your names next time. Now that I know that you guys, like, you know, like I realize that, like she
I mean, at
It-
the
it
time,
just-
she's like dealing with the guilt of like letting that chick die, even though it's not her fault. And at the same time, this Tio guy is aggressively yelling at her.
Wait, why does she feel so much guilt over this one particular girl and not all the other deaths?
I think because
Yeah,
they
like,
started
again.
bonding, right? Like this is the first group she's actually formed a connection with. And
Also,
like,
But then,
she
like, on
could
the
have
surface,
like acted
yes.
faster in giving them the map, because you see that the map was like the reason, like
Yeah,
not having that
like, she
information
didn't-
from the map was the
yeah.
reason why she died.
mhm.
But the
But
thing
then,
is,
like, they played it off like.
But they're
So
not
you
trying
are-
to give her the.
you would react in like a sort of like defensive way, like try to justify yourself, right? Say, you know, like I would, you know, I'm trying my best, right? And
Like,
that's what
like
most people would
perhaps,
do.
perhaps, like the way I act is different from her. It doesn't justify like she's wrong or any way. I'm just saying like, it just doesn't feel like anything she's doing is like consistent with.
It's consistent
I don't
with
know, like,
her
I don't know.
character. as,
It's
like,
still
pure
consistent with
and
her character, but her character
naive
doesn't feel human.
Like-
Because no person in real life
Like, is
that
it even
naive.
consistent with her character? Like, she broke down like crying, but then like, and then afterwards, like, she just like reconciles by saying sorry to everyone. Like, it feels so disingenuous,
Because
right?
she's naive, right?
Because
Like you
it's-
Yeah,
can,
but like the
there
other
for
guys
you.
just took it. They're like, "Oh man, look, you know what? I guess like you know like we're still not gonna be friends or anything, but you know, if it makes you happy, like you know, like
because
it just doesn't feel like, huh? Like
I think
Yeah.
every action in that scene is like very reasonable, right?
it is, but
Because
it's,
like
ugh.
if I was trying to like
Yes.
be angry at someone and they started
Yes.
crying and apologizing, like you can't stay angry at that, right?
but like,
no, but
would you
you-
like? ugh,
yeah.
it's just I don't know. It just feels so strange.
no,
Like,
it's just I
Mm.
don't think like I personally don't like characters that are too naive.
I just
Because
can't
they're-
sympathize with her,
Hmm.
and I can't sympathize with like the characters. In the
Because
show.
it just makes me think that they're moronic.
I mean, yeah, like she is.
some of the
she's
actions-
like
She is a moron,
blindly
sure.
naive. She's honest to a fault. She literally has like one ideal, and like literally the characters in the show tell her that like she's not cut out for the job, right? Like she is
Yeah.
way too like innocent for this job. But like
you
nonetheless,
said it's the idealistic, right?
sure, idealistic. But like,
But even the great idealists are not one. Like none of the
Alright,
idealists
so
are
like
that.
I don't know. I'm thinking of like if there's any characters that are like super naive, but like they're not moronic, right? Like if you think about characters like
Tanjiro.
Tanjiro, is
Sure.
that?
Tanjiro
Demon
from
Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
I
That's true.
fucking hate that character, by the way. Like, don't even fucking get me started about Demon Slayer. Holy shit. Like, I'm thinking like Naruto, right? Like, he's a fucking moron, right? And he's really fucking naive to begin with, right? And then like, he has a very strong goal. He's motivated to get that goal, and he fights for it. And like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as.
Because he's a kid. We can accept a kid.
I mean, no.
being
I mean,
moronic.
Lena's a
That's how
kid. She's
I-
apparently
she's
16.
16, so she's basically.
Why
But,
the
like-
fuck is she a mate?
Exactly.
No,
No, no,
we
but
had
like
this
exactly.
discussion.
Not
Yeah,
even that.
that's
I know,
Not
but
even
like
that, right? Like
with
nothing
other
about her makes her a kid. Like we didn't know that she was 16 until we searched it up, right? Nothing in the show told us that she was 16,
But we know
and that's the
she's young,
problem,
right?
right?
She also
That's the
mentions
problem.
she's like the same age as the kids, right?
Yeah, like, but
So it's like she's
It's
been
like-
put into a pretty high position with her.
You
naive
wouldn't assume
attitude.
that a person that was watching this anime would know that she's 16.
No, but she's the
I mean,
same
it's-
age as the kids who are fighting.
yeah,
And
look,
that's all
I
that's
think
important, right?
from a very analytical sense, the story makes sense, right? But it's not a good show because like, there's, like the characters just. Everything is just said, you know. Everything is just said. Look, I said this, so therefore this must be true. I said that I went to battle with my grandfather, and therefore I built emotional connection. I understand these people. I said that, you know, I'm 16, I'm as old as you guys, and now I'm compassionate with you guys. Like everything's just said, but nothing feels like anything, you know.
I mean, it's very dialogue heavy based on a light novel, but I mean, they're translating the text into like visual scenes, right? Like she doesn't
Yeah,
say
like, I
my
have-
dad died in the war, right? She doesn't
It's-
say
you-
my dad
Yeah,
died.
but
when we
that
went to the
single
front."
visual scene is just like alright,
It's just like stuff
let's-
like that is what you're seeing, right? And then like the dialogue.
I'm saying
conveys a
it's
lot
like
of
it's
that.
not enough.
No, I
Okay,
agree.
okay.
It's not.
No. What? Now I know. Actually, know what it reminds me of. It reminds me of people working in corporate and being overly nice to fucking everyone.
True.
That's what this character reminds me of.
But
And that shit's annoying
but
as
she
fuck.
has a goal, so it's like that person, but they're also trying to like revolutionize the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually those type of people aren't naive. But she's just dumb. She just acts nice like that normally.
Yeah.
right? Like, but usually when people act like this, it's because they're super fake, and they wanna kiss everyone's ass, right?
And she's at the other
Like,
end of the
oh my
spectrum.
god, you guys are so nice, blah 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 blah, right?
Sure. And she's like literally the entire opposite because this is what she truly believes
Yeah.
in, right?
Like,
Yeah, which is like, what person does that? Honestly,
the protagonist of an anime.
it's true. It's only place you'll see a
This
character.
kind of like innocent, like idealistic naivete is like appealing in the character in its own way. Like if you like that character.
Look,
I'm
again,
like,
like,
yes, man.
I don't think this like no, her character makes sense, the story makes sense. It's just like imagine if this was made by Shaft and the people who animated it was like Shaft, right? And the storytelling was like Monogatari, right? I think this would be like way more fucking interesting and like a much better show. Because like the way Monogatari executes like each of its arcs and character developments is like there is also like quite a few girls in the show that are like characters that you explore, but you explore them one by one, right? You look into their story and why they are or who they are and how they became, and it's very dialogue heavy, right?
It has like 69 seasons as well, so a
Yeah,
long
well,
time to get
Vip's,
through all the
Vip's
episodes.
actually like watching the anime right now.
Yeah, he probably
It's
is.
like out of the discussion.
I believe it.
But like that's what I'm trying to get at, right? Is that like sure you can say that the anime did all of these things that made sense, but it doesn't make it a good anime, right? Because a good anime is able to tell a story that's compelling and bring characters and like develop characters in a way where you actually give a shit about them and what happens to them.
Like,
I'm
don't
fully
you give a
invested in
fuck? I know
every
you don't
Right.
give a shit.
yeah, like I personally am fully invested in like this show.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's the difference, right? Like maybe the difference between like me and like me, David, versus like Serene and Oswald is that we take a lot more to really empathize with the character.
You
'Cause,
guys are like
like-
externally looking in, whereas we're like interjecting ourselves into the show.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe like if like yeah, exactly. Like we're definitely very external. I'm very external for any show that I watch. I can't like if I like look at a show and be like, all right, like characters, visual elements, like music, like art style, animation. Like if they don't like tick boxes, like I'm just like, dude, the show kind of sucks, right?
Dude,
And then like for
I-
you guys, it's like, oh, dude, if this character did this, and then and then like this character like obviously feeling this way, and then they're gonna do this. Like I don't know. It just feels like a different way to see an anime, which is interesting.
Okay,
Like,
what do you guys think about the water scene?
The water scene, like the bath scene, or
The
Do
bath
you
scene.
think it's the bath scene? Do you think it's necessary?
I think it's just fan service. I mean,
Character
same with
character interactions.
I think the interactions are nice. It's a nice touch. It's the same I mentioned in episode 1. There's a scene where she's like changing, right? And like,
yeah.
I think it adds
Yeah.
literally nothing to the show, right?
Yeah.
But like it's anime, right? So you gotta expect something.
But like you can't they can't do that forever, right? Like
I mean, they won't.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like it feels really cheap
No, but that
Right?
humanizes the characters, right? Like it shows them acting as
in a
kids.
really cheap way. No?
No, as in these people ultimately are children, right? Like the people fighting the war and Lena, they're all like 16.
Again, like I feel like you guys you're just justifying it, right? You're justifying it.
No, as
Oh,
in like I enjoyed that scene for many
yeah,
reasons.
like
but
fair enough. Yeah, I get it. Like
Let-
I mean, there's
let's
nothing
not-
wrong with the
let's
scene,
not
it
make
just
this
feels-
kind of discussion like a standoffish situation, like
Yeah,
an
yeah,
us
yeah.
versus them situation.
Oh,
I want
yeah,
like
yeah.
us all to enjoy the anime, like in the.
oh no,
future.
I like no, I have no qualms.
we
with
don't
that.
have to like make this.
I think having good debate is
where you have
interesting.
to like
though.
defend your own opinions.
That's fair.
Because if we do that, then like we're gonna like probably not enjoy the future episodes and see what's going on.
I
mean,
think
I think-
constructive debate is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
no, I see your point.
Having 2 points of view is good.
No echo chambers here for sure.
I agree with what you said. You agree with what I
Yeah,
said.
you're completely right. Let's go on to the next
Best
episode.
anime this season.
Hard disagree, but
But I don't think it's bad in any way, right? Like A1, like nothing that A1 produces is bad. Okay, like bad is like X-Ops, right? That shit is bad. Okay, like incomplete scenes, like bad visuals, like everything is bad about that show. But like this show is not bad. It's just not like I don't feel like it's as good as you guys think it is. You know?
I think one thing that's
Like,
interesting is
There's one detail from that bus scene, like when like Daya revealed himself, the speed at which like everyone drew their pistols.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
nice
Like
detail.
I think what that shows is that even though these people are like playing around, they're playing like really lighthearted. It's a sort of nihilistic lightheartedness, as in like today's gonna be our last, like could be our last day on Earth anyway, right? And how prepared they are, like in a military situation, just shows that they are not like just playing around. They're not just playing around. They're prepared
Well,
every second of their lives.
I don't think it's like they're not playing around. I think it's just that in their environment, it's natural for them to be ready for any situation. Like it's an instinctual nature to that you always have to have your gun ready, or you always have to be prepared for a war in like the next minute.
Sure.
Like the writers are probably trying to send the message that in their environment, no matter what they're doing, they always have to be prepared.
Yeah, and I think that
And
was insane. I think that
I
was a
think
really,
that was really good
good
touch.
Yeah.
that was really good. And, like, it sort of breaks the immersion of like bath scene.
It like subverts the trope that haha, cute girls doing cute things.
Like, yeah, there, and then it just went back into it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think that one's just character development scene to some extent.
Yeah. Introduces you to the characters. It also shows the very obvious what's the redhead girl called?
Kurena.
Kurena. Oh, it's just Kurena, isn't it?
Is it?
Kurena crushing on Shin.
Yeah.
What's also interesting that Shin wasn't there. Like Shin
Shin.
barely.
To shit
Yeah.
people with the girls.
Right, can you imagine trying to drag Shin into that? Like, hey Shin, come on.
Every time they're together,
Mhm.
Shin is always alone.
Yeah, I mean he's a loner.
I mean,
No,
what-
I don't think. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's because he wants to detach himself from the group because he's know that they're probably all gonna die.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Also true.
Like
But
the
as
weight
in-
that he carries is too heavy. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you're emotionally attached to everyone that fucking dies to. You're having trouble for the rest of your life.
That shit hurts.
dude, he has no memory left for talking, man. All his memory is 561 names.
His brain's out of storage.
Names, bro. You're gonna pay respects to the dead.
That's a lot of names.
That's
honestly.
why he's the. He's the.
RAM's completely full. Everything's stored in RAM. Fucking
Oh,
no
true.
space left for talking.
Hey, fun fact: Shin is also 16.
Oh,
Keep
okay.
it on that one. Here we go again.
Six? Stop fighting 11.
One in a countryside, one in the city.
I guess they start fighting when they're like pretty young, huh? I mean, if you think about the other kids at the place, like they do look quite young.
11 though, not 11. You didn't even hit
Not
puberty.
11, but there's young people in there. I mean, maybe Shin's like a special case, you know, who knows?
Maybe it's like a prodigy.
He's like the protagonist. Wait, hang on. It says here that he is considered an elite processor at the young age of 16.
Fair enough. I mean,
That
Just-
guy's literally just Levi, but like it's just Levi.
Bro, you got the parallel story arcs. These guys both got really high ranks at the young age of 16.
actual side character.
Like he's just OP fighter, like the only one who survives and like fucking like carries like the memories of his squads with him, like
Actually.
loner guys.
That's Levi reincarnate. You're right.
Just Levi.
You're true. And Levi was a good character, so this guy's a good character too.
I mean, like, we haven't seen him much, honestly. Like, he's just been like the fucking edgelord, you know?
Yeah, I think one thing
What
this
are the
show
battles
does, which
with
is
that?
kind of
Those,
interesting.
those blades on his thing, on his robot thing, it's just like fucking
Thank you.
the Attack on Titan swords.
Bro, he's got 3D maneuver gear. No, but like one thing this show does really well, I think, or like I think personally is it kind of splits the dialogue into both halves, right? Like you see it from like Lena's point of view, and then you see it from 86's point of view.
Yeah, one switch I really liked was the moment when we saw Shin say, what was it? The connection when after the fight,
Mhm.
where the girl connected with Shin, and I think she said like one phrase, and then it cut back to her experience with it. That was really well done, and then went back into that one moment. Do you guys remember that in episode 3? It was like Shin was sitting on at his table,
Mhm.
and then he received communication from the girl,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Do you want? What was? I don't know the exact phrase, but it was something like, did you need anything?" And then it just cut back to her her going through all the emotions from the guy flaming her for everything.
Yeah, that's episode 4, right?
Is that episode 4? Okay.
That was a different one. Oh, well, I mean, at the end of episode 3, she was getting flamed,
Are you the
right?
one
Mm.
talking about
Yeah.
like Kaya's? No, not Kaya.
I think
Which one are you
the
talking
thing I
about?
liked in episode 4 was when the news report was going on, and then she was like hearing in her
Mm.
head.
The two parts merged together.
Yeah, like,
I like
you know,
that.
obviously,
Contrast.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like the sound there was really discordant. You just felt her own confusion, her own mental state, because like you couldn't really hear correctly. Everything was interfering with everything else.
Hmm.
But like,
Yeah.
It's a discordant
Like-
sound in general.
So she was like it shows that she was in a state of like her own like morals being challenged, right?
Yeah, she's coming to terms with her own like actions.
but I feel
And,
like,
like the hypocrisy of both herself and his state.
doesn't she already understand like what it like getting flamed? Like, she understands their point of view, no?
Yes, but what she doesn't understand up to
previous.
this point is her own. Like, she has been discriminating against them even subconsciously. Because
Can
in
you
her
say-
own mind, she's been truly.
He discriminate against someone.
Alright, sure. She's been acting like poorly towards them subconsciously. Because like up until this point, she has thought of herself as like the perfect example of how to treat 86. Right? She's thought that everything she's done is correct, and that the 86 would welcome her with open arms and be like, "Thank you for saving us." Right? And then she experiences this conflict, both internally and externally, where Theo is yelling at her, and she's like, "Holy shit, I've been like treating these guys so rudely even without knowing it," right? And that's like she's coming to this understanding that she's been so brainwashed by the propaganda that she doesn't even like give them the most basic human like respect in like learning their names and like getting to know them as people.
Yeah.
Damn, I could write an analysis on this.
Actually, this show you can write a fucking analysis.
Can't we all? I mean, isn't that what we're doing right now?
Kinda, yeah.
That's true.
Rephrase everything we're saying and then just like make a YouTube video. Why 86 is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I just show us
86 is
for my debate.
masterpiece or trash? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark.
Yeah, actual. I mean, the thing's like, it is pretty interesting, right? Because we are like, we are like getting evidence and then like applying the evidence and like
Or, like
explaining.
quoting
writing a
scenes.
Dude, we're actually just writing context. They're like getting like someone's like Lincoln and shit.
It's because
Actually just
Honestly,
writing
this is like high level analysis right here.
It goes so deep, so many levels deep.
I think being able to go deep also makes it a good show. But that's my opinion.
that's very true.
I mean, we
Anyway,
can't say the same thing
commies at
about something-
23 cents. Let's go.
Like we wouldn't be able to do the same thing about like something like To Your Eternity because there's just not that much. I mean,
that's-
there's not that much disagreement. I think we need like this disagreement. Like, in fact, even if if Phipps were here, then it'll be 3 people like disagreeing with 2 people. That'll be like even a bit worse. Like
Ah.
it just so happened that we have 4 people here.
And 2 on
2
2.
people think one thing, 2 people
Yep.
think something else.
Very interesting.
I think the show.
I think even between me and David, we have like 3
Yes.
different.
I mean, the
There's definitely
opinion's not the
different.
same.
Like, we both like don't like the show as much as you guys, but for different reasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the show, but for a different reason from Serene as well.
Bro, like this voice actress, man. I fucking just stuck her on the favorites list because I know who she will be voice acting like later on this year.
Dude, that's the thing. I actually don't hear. Like, I don't get that. I honestly don't give a shit about who's voice acting or voice acting, like the characters.
Sad.
No, I'm just saying this is fucking Arcue's voice actor. It's the Tsukihime visual novel
Oh.
voice actor. This is like Type Moon's basically Type Moon's princess. Type Moon's like the one where like Fate Stay Night, Karano Kyokai and stuff, Fate Zero or whatever. Like the studio behind that. This is the character she'll be voicing is basically like the studio's princess.
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Tsukihime, the Moon Princess.
Tsukihime.
Tsukihime.
Moon
True.
Princess of Type Moon.
type man.
That is an interesting point, right? Like now that I think about it, with anime, I don't really care about the voice actors or actresses, but like for like movies, I really give a shit about like the people acting, right?
Hmm.
Like, well, I don't really give a shit, but like I know actors that are like really good, but
Yeah.
I don't recognize like the voice actresses that are very good.
I think that's just animation in itself, because with animation, you're looking at the movements of the characters more than the voices.
Actually, I don't know. Like,
mean,
wait,
in a movie, like you're looking at the person themselves, right?
Yeah,
So you like
yeah.
recognize their face, whereas in anime you only hear their voice.
Because it's not only with anime, it's any animated like Toy Story. You don't think about the person who
Exactly.
voiced Buzz Lightyear, right?
I feel like actually, I'm just thinking because the only it's not, it's about the same. So for me, like I would watch an anime. I don't really care about the voice actresses or actors, and for movies, I don't really care about actors or actresses. But I know actors that I would actively watch their movies just to see how they perform. Is that
Yeah.
the same with you? Like, because
Yeah,
you
the
like
voice actresses.
yeah.
I'll watch a Takahashi Rie show even if it's dog shit.
Interesting. Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I take notice of some of them. And some are good.
Mhm.
I mean, there's some like really voice acting like driven shows, like specifically just ReZero. Like
Yeah.
the whole show is just completely carried on the backs of the voice acting.
Such as Takahashi Rie.
What
I mean,
about
like not even Takahashi Rie in that show. It's just
The whole show, no,
everyone,
of course. No, I agree.
like, everything is carried by voice acting.
Even
The
the
show's
guy,
actually just-
bro, the guy
It can
is
be a radio show instead. ReZero animation is garbage.
honestly true. Bro, when they're like screaming and shit, you feel that.
Well, actually, you know, you guys like David and Jordan, like you guys don't really like know Japanese that much. I mean,
No.
David, I think specifically.
do.
Jordan, like you learn a bit of Japanese.
I think I know about as much as David, if not less. Didn't David do
Whereas like Oswald like learns Japanese, and like I think I can understand like at least 50% of like anime. So it's like there's a bit of like
It's a different, yeah. Our experiences watching the anime is very different if you're only reading the subtitles rather than listening.
like
Listening
David,
and
like
watching the show.
Jap.
I didn't even do Jap. No.
Yeah, I didn't do Jap 1, Jap 2 either. So like we're basically on the same playing field.
I mean,
None of
that's
us do
learning.
Jap too.
To,
Jap
you
on
watch anime, don't you
serious
learn a
levels.
bit of Japanese?
I mean, okay, so just like watching an anime, it's really interesting because there's phrases that they say often, and I know what they mean,
Shikatta ne.
or like I know what it feels like. You know what I'm
Ah.
saying? Like,
I mean,
I
that's
wouldn't be able
good
to
voice
technically
acting.
translate it, but if I hear it, I'll be like, oh, they say that when this happens or something like that.
Mm-mm. Like they finish a meal and they're like, "Gochiso sama deshita."
Yeah. Like, and I think that really changes my perspective because it's like, I don't like when they say things and they don't feel a certain way. That's when it like conflicts in my head. I think.
Ah.
Okay.
Bad subs ruining anime.
Maybe.
I just watched subtitles.
You just gotta
Alright.
consciously try to like learn the Japanese from anime. Maybe you can try that.
There's too much
Consciously
effort.
try to like learn the Japanese.
Dude.
The thing's that I
Actually,
can
too much
get
effort.
the feeling of the voice acting without knowing what they say, pretty much. Which is because like the way someone says something can be different to what they actually say, right?
Mhm.
And I think when I don't understand what they say, I pick up a lot more on the way they say it. And if the way they say it doesn't reflect what is actually going on, that creates a lot more conflict in my head, I think.
I think most
So-
voice actors that I've heard do like match the tone with the scene. I think that's like the basics of voice acting itself.
I mean, in general,
Yeah, but,
voice
like,
acting's pretty good.
In like the more subtle scenes, like when it's just like dialogue, like
Things to
Huh?
focus on the tone is because
yeah, like the tone is pretty important for me. Like, because even when I'm talking to like someone in real life, right? Like, you can tell a lot from just the way they talk versus what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's definitely
and I
true.
think like anime, I really need that aspect where like the tone they talk in matches what I expect, sort of.
so when you guys watch, I'm referring to
Mm-hmm.
when you guys watch anime, does it feel like you're watching just like, does the language feel natural to you, or do you have to work hard to understand?
I mean, I'll still look at the subs.
Yeah, still look at the subs, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's-
It's just
Like
like,
I have a feeling that you watching anime is like me watching Chinese.
yeah, probably. It's like you look at the subs once in a while to figure out what's going on, but
yeah,
like you can mostly follow along just by listening.
right.
Yeah.
And like the experience is very different because you get so much time just looking at the scene.
Mm.
You're like, if your eyes are focused down on the bottom third, you get all the peripheral vision
Mhm.
of what is actually going on, but you don't actually get to analyze what they draw, actually what they draw.
Can't you watch the whole screen at the same time? Like you look at the center of the screen and then have the subs in your peripheral vision.
No,
You
I
can't.
I think I watched enough anime where I'm like really quick at reading subs.
Up and down.
I'm not that.
I mean,
After watching Monogatari, you gotta be those one frame
Wait,
scenes.
just reading up books and you're fucking faster reading, right? Just
Like-
have the subs in your peripheral vision while looking at the center of your screen.
Alright, this was one thing I wanted to ask earlier actually. If you had the choice between like reading a book or reading a manga, what would you prefer?
I would
As in
read.
with the same story.
Yeah, I used to say book and now say manga because I have less. Like I read things to as entertainment. Manga brings me more entertainment. If I like enjoyed the story and want to read further, I
Right.
might like dive into their novels and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, because like, do you think reading and then like imagining it yourself versus like just being shown what's happening, like what's more entertaining? Because like I don't know, I'm thinking about that too. Manga.
Personally, I don't have a preference. Like, good content is good content for me.
Mhm.
Like, if it's a good manga, I'll read it, and if it's a good book, I'd like to read it as
But
well.
let's say with the
And-
same story, right?
And it's not
And that's
directly comparable anyway.
And it's execution, right? And
It-
it's
like you can have like an anime or manga adapted into an anime, and like you could argue that they're the same thing,
Oh, you're
but
right.
are they really the same thing? Like, you know.
Alright.
So
wondering.
like it really depends on like actually like what the thing is.
But
Yeah, fair
usually
enough.
I would say that manga and anime are a lot easier to consume than books,
Definitely.
which makes it but a good book is like a lot more absorbing, I would say, than a good manga.
Because like anime and manga, you're kind of passively taking in the
Exactly.
content, whereas like reading, you're actively involved, like
Yeah.
immersing yourself in the story.
You do get a lot more absorbed into books.
Fucking Fergus just start reading visual novels then.
Yep. Visual novels, the in between, the perfect in between.
Get fucking voice acting as well, man. Music.
Actually,
I think I get absorbed when the thing is good.
whatever medium
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever medium it is. Like if it's a bad, like it's really hard for me to get absorbed in something that I just don't like.
I think that's true with everyone, right?
Yep.
If you don't
Yeah.
like, you never be interested in it.
That's very true.
I don't know if that's a good thing though.
It
Like,
is.
I think it's good, but I think what your point is that not a lot of things absorbs you anymore.
yeah,
You're not-
exactly.
Yeah, what's up with that, man?
I
I think you need to get a bit of that childlike naivete.
True.
I really do. I feel like I'm getting too old for like good, too old for like too old.
You need to become Lena.
I read I was actually reading a manga today. It's pretty popular right now. Chainsaw Man.
Yep. I
You guys read it?
Fibs and I both read it.
It's so good. Dude, I fucking love this shit.
Yeah, it's really whack. Like it's out there. The
Yeah, no, like,
the
I definitely.
it's definitely different. I mean, looking at that one scene in Mob Psycho, it kind of reminds me of that. I think it's a similar style.
Yeah.
Like that one fight
like-
scene I saw.
Yeah, I remember like I was like reading it, and like some of the times I'd be looking at a panel and I'll be like, "Wait, what?" I'm
Actually, like,
"What-
what the fuck is going on here?
what is going on?" But like, and then you read a bit more, and you're like, huh? Oh wait, so like she was huh? And then like, huh?
No.
Like, I like that.
Honestly, like
I'll-
by the end of the manga, there's so many characters. Like no one knew what was going on. You look at like the Reddit discussion threads, everyone's confused,
Yeah, and I was like,
and people still read it.
I mean, like, I don't know if this is, I don't think this is really spoilers, but like, dude, it took me so fucking long to figure out who the fuck Santa Claus was, like the actual one, right? Like, do you
Oh
remember?
yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Like, what?
It's just like all the demons are so big and so fucking like scary
Yeah.
looking,
I mean, the demons.
and they
I,
like
I,
no spoilers here, but yeah.
I bet the story is that there are demons
Yep.
that possess people, and people take the power of demons. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
That's called change.
Because the main character turns into a chainsaw demon.
It's very pog.
He just has a simple dream, right? He just wants to like live a normal life. I feel like that's like there's the two extremes of manga and like anime, right? There's the people who want to live a normal life and then get fucked, right? Like Chainsaw Man, like One Punch Man, like people who just want to have like a happy life, but then for reasons beyond their control, they have to fight shit. And then there's like the opposite. There's like normal people who want to do like crazy shit,
Yeah.
Like Naruto.
like Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
like
Attack
fucking
on Titan.
86.
Yeah.
Like
Like any
people,
show.
Crazy.
yeah, like people who maybe naturally don't have any ability, but then like have to do shit. They want to do shit, or like just like sports anime, like shonen anime, right? Like they're just normal kids, and they just want to like.
Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Yeah, sure. He's just a normal kid, and he wants to like win something and do something, and that's like the
You know
two
what it is?
extremes.
A lot of anime and manga explores like the extremities of
Mhm.
human character.
Yep.
Right.
However,
Mhm.
counter argument,
Mhm.
I think some of the best anime I've seen explores characters that are not extreme in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff like Sangatsu no Lion and actually maybe Sangatsu no Lion are pretty extreme. I don't know, but like
I mean,
there's like
in those
something
shows,
very
like fucking, they're talented as fuck, bro.
what about I know you guys haven't seen this, but sure Genroku Rakugo Shinji, right? Like
Rakugo. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
aren't they
pretty-
like?
character.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's definitely more
Oh,
like human.
They were definitely extreme. They were not like normal everyday people.
Mm.
They were like
They're
the
still
best
like talented.
Rakugo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talented Rakugo storytellers. I'm just trying to think, like, the only anime that don't do that is like shitty slice of lives, right?
Actually, slice of life, but like.
But
slice
then
of
like
life.
they're still enjoyable. So I guess you don't have to look
Slice
at
of
extremes.
Extreme personalities in people.
Yeah, I mean that's slice
Would
of
you-
life, right? It's
Would
a
I
different
say
kind of
that?
show. Like it's a different kind of show.
It's not comparable, but I think slice of life is just like escapism. You know, you just want to like fuck off with your busy like corporate life and just like sit in the high school classroom with some cute girls.
Yeah.
Can't watch that shit. I actually can't watch that.
Fair enough. To each their own, man.
I watched 5 minutes. Nah, couldn't survive more than 5 minutes.
Because like what you have to
I
do
think-
to watch a show like that is you literally turn your brain off and you just like haha haha the whole time. You just like laugh at them, right? You just like literally
critical.
enjoy yourself. Like you don't want to think about like that's not realistic. You don't want to be like, holy shit, why did she do that? She's so stupid. You just sit there and you're like, haha, that's funny. And you just like
I was a black
relax.
person to bully me in high school. Nigga
Oh.
Toro.
we're on Twitch, bro. We're getting banned.
Fuck.
Getting banned.
Clip.
Take a bang, guys. You guys banned on Twitch. Don't worry, no one's in chat anymore.
Alright, no worries. No worries.
Like I don't know. Like I feel like what is like the border between like slice of life and like just a regular show? Because I feel like a lot of the shows that
Slice
'Cause,
of
like,
life
have you-
doesn't have a storyline going through it.
There's no overarching
That's
plot
like-
usually. Like the only overarching plot is like graduation. Like eventually they graduate. That's it.
right.
And
Is
there's like
Violet Evergarden slice of life or not?
no, because she's trying to
No,
find
because-
like her
yeah.
thing. She has like this big goal she's pursuing. Right.
It's
There's
BB
this-
slice of life.
So what would you like? Sort of
Wait, but Antarctica, that's
Antarctica's
slice
not a
of life.
slice of life.
That's not a slice of life.
No, they're going to Antarctica, bro. They have a goal.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's cute girls doing cute things, but it's not like slice of
what
life.
would you categorize as a genre for like shows that are like just about normal people. Like there's nothing like crazy, and they're just like doing normal day things. But like there's this overarching story.
And it's just a good story, right? It's like you're
Like-
realistic.
Like
Is that
what?
Kaguya?
What do
Like,
you
is
mean?
Kaguya a slice of life?
Kaguya,
Like-
I would say stuff like Kaguya and like Horimiya is not quite slice of life, right? Like slice of life is literal degenerate shit. Like literal.
I'll say
Kaguya is pretty slice of life.
Kaguya is definitely slice of life.
I guess after, no, like in the manga, it's getting there. I think, yeah,
I think in the story, it's like in the anime as well, right? It's pretty episodic. Like every single part is like, like Kaguya wins, or
It's
like,
like The Simpsons. The Simpsons is slice of life.
yeah, Simpsons
yeah.
is slice of
So this is
life.
actually slice of life. It's
So
just
would
like
you call
shit that you
like
can
sitcom?
watch in like any order. I would say is slice of life. Like if you
Right.
took an episode from episode like season 3 and an episode from season 1, and like watch them back to back, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, like, sure, right.
What
Whereas
would you
with
classify?
you go.
Mushishi.
I've never watched Mishishi, but I mean, let's see what the internet classifies it as.
Mystery,
Adventure, slice of life, mystery.
right? So it is slice of life.
That's
Because like it's episodic. Like, you can watch an episode and not having to watch any previous episodes to
That's,
understand.
that's not the only qualification of slice of life.
Mhm.
It's
Well, yeah,
probably one of
what
them.
other-
One of them.
That's like how I personally classify them, basically. I'm sure there's different ways. I mean, Sangatsu no Lion is apparently slice of life.
right? Like, but there's a very obvious like overarching storyline.
Sure. I feel like you can't watch that out of order, though. I feel like you do need to watch that show in order.
I think labeling shows with genres is good up to a certain point. Like after that, it just becomes meaningless. It's like it is like we all know what the show is.
It's a good show.
We all know
it's
what
a
it's
good show.
about.
Like if someone is like, oh, recommend me like this type of show, like
Right, like when Pip
Like,
says,
what-
I hate
what
slice of
is
life,
that type of-
like, does that mean you can't recommend him Sangatsu no Lion?
something like that. Or like if you want to recommend someone Sangatsu no Lion, like what do they have to say for you to recommend them that?
Right.
Like I want to watch people doing mundane things.
I think that
But they
almost
will-
falls into like melodrama or just like drama in general, right? Where they're like,
like sitcoms.
yeah, like sitcoms almost, which I guess are also slice of lives.
So, like,
Like situation comedy, that's literally slice of life.
yeah.
really fun. Where's the slice of life sitcom? Success.
Sitcoms are literally slice of lives, huh? Fair enough. So like, if I asked you to recommend me Sangatsu no Lion, like, what would I have to ask you to get you to do that?
Wait,
'Cause
that's
I know
funny.
you love the show.
Like, cause like you know, people keep asking me like, what's my favorite show? I say like Sangatsu no Lion. I know like people wouldn't want to watch that show if they're just like getting into anime or anything.
Yeah. So if I asked you, I'm looking for a blank show, what would I have to say to get you to like recommend this show?
I don't know. That's why.
Shit.
What would... I like that. That's why. Like, what would you characterize like
Right.
the genre?
It's almost like psychological. You're like
No.
delving into like human brains.
I'm
Like,
confused.
give you $100 if you
I'm
watch this
very
shit.
confused right
Yep,
now
go for it.
because I don't like slice of life in anime. I can't watch that shit.
But you
I
like
do like
sitcoms.
I do like sitcoms. I can watch tons of sitcoms.
Like, you understand like Western humor, but you don't understand Japanese humor.
Oh, that could be it.
That could be it.
Because there is a
But it's
huge
also like
contrast.
The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like there's like in those shows, there's always some character development. There's always some like overarching journey. Yes.
Alright. Because the only sitcoms I've watched is like fucking Big Bang Theory and like
Oh yeah, there's
Community.
that. Yeah.
That
yeah.
shit-
That shit doesn't have any. Yeah.
Or actually, you find sitcoms funny, but not all slice of lives are comedy, right? Sitcoms are comedy by definition, but
Yeah.
slice
That's
of lives
true.
is not necessarily comedy.
Yeah.
What
Have
slice
you
of
watched-
lives have you watched? Like tried watching?
Okay, okay. I don't know. I don't think I've watched any.
I doubt David's watching anything. A good slice of
Oh,
life is if you don't mind fairies, Konohana Kitan. I love that show.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's not. Oh.
How can you say that you don't like slice of lives if you like haven't?
Because I have been recommended a lot that now I
How
can't
many?
remember.
What have you like tried looking at?
I can't remember. Can you give me some like examples of
See,
popular
watch
ones?
Nichijou. I like seeing Nichijou because I'll say
Yeah,
that
but
that's probably like
if
the
you
Ichigo
if you want
is
something
whack.
similar to Western sitcoms, like I actually think Kaguya is pretty similar to Western sitcoms.
Ah, yeah.
I agree. Kaguya is something.
Kaguya is
Probably like
super
Kaguya.
accessible for like Western audiences.
I think Nichijou is a bit niche because there's a lot of like Japanese humor.
Yeah, Nichijo's humor is.
I think
you have to like.
Oh yeah, I have watched
Yeah,
I have
I
watched
get it.
Kaguya. It's okay. I can watch through that one.
yeah.
I think like my personal favorite slice of life would probably like excluding stuff like Kaguya is probably like Non Biori.
Ah, feels like cute girls doing cute things at that point.
Yeah, but that's like
David doesn't want to
I mean,
watch that.
probably not that.
My favorite
Oh
slice
yeah,
of life.
I watched Grand Blue.
Grand Blue was good.
That
man.
shit's so confusing.
The
I didn't
humor is
Grand Blue-
out there.
really need like Japanese sense of humor.
Yeah.
King Tama slice of like if you want Japanese humor, it's actually King Tama.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Like obviously, Japanese shows are targeting a Japanese audience with Japanese humor.
But like King Tama is like really Japanese humor.
I would say
like,
Grand
if you
Blue
ever-
was pretty funny though. Like even without Japanese knowledge.
Mm.
But I think Grand Blue's comedy is sort of like Nichijou's comedy.
Yeah,
It's very like you need to understand like Japanese culture a bit to
that's
like
true. That's true.
see why it's funny. But I'll personally like recommend Nichijou anyways, just because of the animation and the characters.
Thank you, Kiani.
Yeah, thank you, Kiani. That's just so fucking good.
MAL.
Other like non-slice of life shows I would recommend is Samurai Champloo, which is not like your typical cutesy slice of life show.
Yeah, Slice of Life
it's
doesn't
very,
have to
like-
be cute. It's just most of them end up being cute.
Yeah, it's like just everyday life of like
Cute girls.
these travelers, and then like they like situations occur and they have to like solve the situation as
Ah.
samurais. And it's really good.
That's nice. What else do I recommend? Yuri Camp. Not to David. K-On! Not to David. Yeah, no. All my shows are not for
Live.
David. Love Live, not for David.
Fuck man.
Oh,
the
maybe
only slice of life
GTO.
shows I have above 6 on MAL.
Oh my
You
god,
reckon
that's so
GTO?
popular. Life, is it? Oh, it
It
is.
kind of is.
It's sort
Oh,
of.
then what about that the Ayaya one? What's it called?
Oh,
Kihiro-
Hero Mosaic.
Ayaya.
Definitely not for David, but
I think GTO, David. would-
I think so.
I think-
GTO. David.
David, you watch the first episode of GTO. It's like 45 minutes long, but it's so good.
I will
first
not
episode
watch
is so-
today then.
Not today, but
Not today.
it's
Well,
it's really
should-
old though, so the art's gonna be maybe foreign to you, but
I think David, like David, you're fine with
David's
all art.
fine. Okay
I'm
with that.
fine with all that.
Good shit. Dude. He hasn't seen good art. Bad art is all the same to him.
Hasn't seen good
Wait,
art, but
wait,
he's seen
Kono-
fireworks.
Konosuba is Konosuba a slice of life? pretty
Ooh,
much.
it's like fantasy adventure though, right?
Yeah, but
I
it's
guess it's also
what happens in Konosuba is physically
No,
focused.
you're right. Nothing happens.
Dude,
Actually,
Konosuba's a sitcom.
Konosuba is a sitcom. You're right.
absolutely-
Konosuba is a sitcom.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Oh, lol.
I
Konosuba's
watched it.
hilarious though.
It's not. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Also, very Japanese humor sometimes. Though, have you seen the movie? They're like, there's like a chick with a dick.
Oh, that
I've not seen the movie, but
cockblock is cockblock Megumi, man.
This shit's actually funny. Anyway,
Light novel though, like fucking Kazuma actually fucks darkness or some shit. Or Daniel.
all right, sounds good.
Sounds interesting.
dude, do we like build like a list of generic shows for David to watch?
Yeah, I remember doing that.
man.
I watched some of them. I
Right.
do remember watching some.
Did we watch two and then realized we suck? Our taste sucks.
And then
Dude, like
and
it's good shows,
Oh,
man.
what about the slime one? Tensudou.
One Room,
One Room.
X-Arm,
Mars. What's it called? The second lowest rated anime on this website.
Dude, One Room is the best show in the fucking world. Bro.
Is the lowest one is Skull to
Yeah.
Heaven. Oh, you can watch Skull to Heaven. Anyway,
Personally, I think David has like sort of similar taste to me though.
Yep.
So I think you should watch some of the shows that I really like.
Then it must be One Room, right, Jordan? Your favorite?
Oh yeah,
I love
check out
One
One.
One Room is such a good show. There's single directional dialogue.
You can watch it really quick.
What the fuck? Wait, so the girls talk to you?
Yes. There is no main character. You are
Have you watched it?
You are the camera. I've watched it.
No,
That's actually wait. That's funny as
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Dude,
no,
that
David watched
was
one.
I watched Pengu.
Oh, Penguin's
Remember?
good.
One room's a special
No,
kind of.
One Room is actually the best slice of life. So you're the camera, right? You're the main character and you're a camera.
It saves so much budget by not having to voice actor characters.
Yeah. And then the girl talks to you, and then there's just like this awkward pause. There's like a silence, and then she keeps talking.
Dude, but the girl is also like 7.
No, they're all legal, probably. Actually, no, you're not. You're right. The first
Yeah,
girl
they
is
have-
definitely not legal.
But there's no illegal things that happen, so it's okay.
Well, that's true. That's true. You're just like going on dates with them. It's awesome.
It's just like 7.
No, there's a swimsuit scene somewhere. I remember.
My
But
boobs.
Oh, yeah.
what else? Oops. There's definitely a swimsuit scene somewhere.
That's not illegal. Fucking yeah, you saying young people can't go swimming? What the fuck?
No, but you're in like a jacuzzi with her.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's probably fine there.
That's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, anyway, where were we? Good anime. What about slime? Reincarnated as a slime.
I don't actually like that one.
Really? I thought it was pretty. I like the manga. I
It's
didn't
not,
watch it.
it's not, it was just like average.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Slime's like-
generic shonen.
Generic shonen. I mean, it's about as good as Redo of Healer, like no, unironically.
Dude, Pila.
Dude, I still
Redo of
don't
Healer
know.
wasn't that bad. It's like a pretty generic show.
I after all this time, I realized I've read the manga. Because I've been hearing Redo of Healer this whole time, and I looked at the Japanese title, and I was like, "Holy shit, I read this."
Yes.
Whoops.
Redo of Healer is pretty fucking average. But
Yeah, it's pretty average.
average.
Yeah, after all this time, I realized I've read this manga before. 1 out of 10 reviews. Yep, sure.
I'm looking at my my list right now. I'm just like, dude, like I would recommend David like fucking Shouwaku Roku Roku or Shinju, but like he would like fucking watch like 2 episodes and like stop watching it.
Actually,
But it's actually really good. Like
well, this is actually
this-
good.
I don't have the time or emotional investment to watch that shit.
it's not.
I don't watch. If you don't have time, you watch One Room. The 4-minute episodes.
Not true. You watch one room, bro.
I
So
don't think I can watch one more.
it's stress, relax.
Oh, I got
I-
an even better one for you. Let's watch one episode Tenki, right? I'll stream Tenki.
How about you stream one
Tiki?
episode?
Tiki is what it's called. Alright, this thing
my
has
God.
this thing has 9 seasons, so it can't be bad. Trust me.
Do you remember? Do you remember Alice or Alice? Or Alice to Alice or whatever
Alice,
that show
Alice,
was?
yeah.
That show was a fucking troll.
Alright, I'm gonna download one episode of TQ. You guys can watch along with me. It's 2 minutes long, and that includes an
Dude, I
OP.
know what David has time for. You can have time for Monster, the whole thing, watching it one speed. Dude, I put a 10 for Monster on MAL, like it's one of my few 10s. Like I feel like I'm obliged to put 10 for Monster, but you know, it's honestly
9,
Alright, there we go.
74
it feels like an obligation to like rate Monster like highly. But,
Alright, boys, get in the stream. TQ episode 1.
like Montreal is so good, but you know. It's,
TQ
Yes.
episode 1. Alright, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna cut the podcast there. But
yeah,
should I close the stream? I probably should, right? We're not talking about anything relevant anymore.
that doesn't matter.
No one's in the stream anyway.
What's watching the episode from your stream, bro?
That's fine. I'll just screen share on Discord. Yeah, alright. Thanks for coming to the stream, guys. Bye.
Goodbye.
I just